Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
The puck is passed up through the neutral zone, and here's a breakaway. He's coming in hot. He shoots, and oh no, a broken stick.
When it comes to performance, quality parts matter. Napa Auto Parts has all the reliable parts, tools, and more to keep your vehicle running like a playoff contender. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
All this month, you can get in the swing of spring with Pot for Dough at Nisku Ford. Shop amazing deals on their entire in-stock inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. You're sure to find the perfect ride. Then, with every vehicle purchase, you'll get your turn to Pot for Dough. Just sink your putt to win fantastic prizes like gas cards, big screen TVs, Blackstone griddles, and more. See dealer for full details. Find your new ride at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
Waits up for the penalty shot and now wins game 2 in double overtime.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets it in the end. It is gone.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul 649, Tuesday, April the 21st. Hey, if you thought this would be easy, think again. It shows you how tough it is to win in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial on your morning drive heading into work on a Tuesday. So glad you could spend some time with us here. You can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Drop us a like, a subscription. We would appreciate that. We're also on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. And as always, the many streaming services out there on iHeart, the TuneIn app, and even on sports1440.ca. If you miss any part of any show, well, there where all the podcasts hang out on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Please subscribe there. It's free. Select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of any show. Yes, Hardy, good morning to you on a Tuesday where the Oilers draw first blood in their series with the Anaheim Ducks, winning it 4-3 thanks to a late goal by Kapanen, his second of the game. Jason Dickinson also had 2 goals. They're the reason the Oilers win game number 1. Leon Draisaitl, Vasily Podkolzin, Jake Wallman, all with 2 assists. And the Oilers had to come from behind and beat the Ducks after trailing after 40 minutes. And the Ducks this year, 24-1-1 when leading after 40 minutes. The script changed yesterday. First period, for the Oilers last night, almost absolutely textbook. Could you play a better period? Could you feed off the wave, the momentum of the crowd coming out of the tunnel? The decibel limit or level, reached 112. That's pretty darn high. Puck drop was at 8:22, so a late start. But, comparing game one this year to going back to the Stanley Cup final, very comparable. Maybe not quite as much of a frenzy, where I think last year it got up to 114, 115 on the old decibel level. But it was nutso in there. It was loud. It was proud. The Oiler chant, "Let's go Oilers," was crazy at the beginning of the game. And the Oilers fed off it. I think you may have heard Jason Dickinson, Connor Ingram talking about it post-game. The fact that, they've never experienced anything like this, especially Connor Ingram, where, he said, "Hey, man, I played most of my career at the Moulet Arena down in Phoenix." And to see the difference, feel the difference, absolutely amazing. Text 833-401-1440. Get them in, we'll get them on. Again, pretty near perfect first period for the Oilers. Outshot Anaheim 14-4. Get an early goal and get a late goal kind of thing. And they get a little bit of luck. Tim Washi had a goal that was pulled back where he bumped into Connor Ingram. That sucked a little bit of life out of the building. You better believe it. Then they get the goal from Dickinson off a pass from Jake Wallman that you cannot make a better pass than that. And then Kapanen just staying with it, banging away, knocking the puck out of the air. Third, fourth attempt, and it's 2-0 after 20, and everyone's thinking, okay, this is how it's supposed to be going. We got the playoff pedigree. This is a young team that we're playing in the Ducks, but the Oilers stopped playing. They stopped playing in the second period. The Ducks raised their level a lot in the second period, and the Oilers didn't match it. The Oilers weren't as physical, not even close to being as physical in the first period, where guys were laying the body. There was, hits by Doc and Hyman, Connor McDavid even. Kapanen had some big hits in the first period. They laid off the gas to start the second. And that goal, 19 seconds, the Oilers they weren't ready to start the period. Weren't ready. And Troy Terry scoring on the rebound, the start of a wonderful game for him. 3-point night, couple of goals. He was all over the puck. He's going to be a problem for the Oilers, as are a lot of their other star players, like a Leo Carlson. Didn't see as much from Beckett Seneke, but, there are enough young, talented players on this team that, you're going to have some problems for sure. But missed assignments, missed coverage. Didn't see much from the first line really all night, did we? And you know what? Joel Quenneville didn't care. Didn't care about the matchups. He had the fourth line up against Connor McDavid a lot of the times. And to be honest, he started the fourth line. I thought Chris Knobloch should have went with the Oilers' first line. Throw McDavid out the boards right off the hop. Instead, he countered with the third line, I guess. But, that fourth line for Anaheim played pretty well, as did the Oilers' fourth line. And it was a hodgepodge because once Adam Henrique went down, he was tangled up in front of the net, by the way, with Kasperi Kapanen. Didn't return after just playing a handful of shifts, if that. Played like under less than 3 minutes. So we'll see how he is today. But you could expect that Josh Szymanski will see some time here, maybe sooner than later. This is the first time, and when you look at how the Ducks played Connor McDavid, they were all over him. They converged on him quickly. Did they not? Sticks in there, just kind of quick little wax taps, not enough to draw a penalty. First win this year for the Oilers when Connor McDavid gets no points. They were 0-12-2. Amazing that the rest of the team pulled it up. Now, that's a good thing for the Oilers. It's a bad thing for the Ducks because Connor McDavid gets no points, and Evan Bouchard had a sleepy game. He had a sleepy game, and there's no way around that. On the second goal, he had the giveaway, came out, rebound, bang, Leo Carlson scores Leo Carlson scores, and it's 2-2. But Bouchard, we've seen him play a whole lot better. Expect a whole lot better from Bouchard moving forward. But how about that 3-3 goal? The sniper in the stands that gets Radko Gudas, Duke's buddy Radko Gudas. That was one of the turning points of the game, really. That allows the second goal by Dickinson, and it allows Kapanen to get the game winner with just under 2 minutes left. Great play by Leon Draisaitl in on the forecheck, put Coles in behind the net, small little rim and a quick little backhand flip pass out front, and a nice hole spotted by Kasperi Kapanen. Excellent job. So Oilers win game number 1, 4-3. Game number 2 tomorrow. Both teams really not practicing today except for the spares. So we will get to the rest of the NHL momentarily as we bring in the Duke of Delburne at 7:09. Duke, your Ducks, they play hard, they're fast, they're quick. They played a different kind of style too. Different kind of style defensively, backing off. They had that one high guy basically around the blue line on Oilers when they were trying to get out of their own zone.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed things up, kind of flushing things out to the outside than what we've seen them in the regular season.
Yeah, it was a change, no doubt about it. And I thought the effort put forth by the team, the game plan, everything all rolled into it to slow down the Oilers' best players. Connor McDavid in particular was very evident over the course of 60 minutes, right? And you kind of touched on it there that, yeah, the Oilers' best players across the board didn't really have a huge impact on the game. They had zone time, they had scoring chances for sure, but it was the depth players that really stepped up and made the difference, as evident by the goals from Dickinson and Kapanen. So that gets a ton of credit from their side of things. And as you also touched on, it has to, I would think, still leave a lot of Oilers fans feeling pretty comfortable despite the imperfect opener, in the sense that you still won the game. It wasn't pretty the whole way, but you won the game without really your best players doing much of anything. So
again, yeah.
that's something to take note of moving into game number 2 tomorrow night. But yeah, I thought the Ducks played really well for the most part. I mean, the first period, you weather the storm for 16 minutes. And I don't think you necessarily go in expecting to come out with a lead after 20 minutes, but you say, man, we're 3.5 minutes away from getting out of this unscathed and weathering the storm of the building, the crowd, all this stuff. And then you give up a couple goals in pretty short order, puts you well behind the 8 ball. So credit on the Ducks for battling back and giving themselves a chance in the hockey game.
19 seconds into the second,
for sure.
Confidence,
as much as. And so if you think about it, and maybe it wouldn't be necessarily the same way if the Oilers hadn't opened up that 2-0 lead, but if the Ducks had weathered those last 4 minutes a little bit better and even just given up the 1 goal, it could have been a different outcome if they came out the same way in period number 2. And the Oilers, the second period was so ugly on a number of fronts by their part. But like me watching it, I don't know if anybody else out there, even you, Kevin, felt the same. Even when Oilers go down 3-2, anybody that thought the game was over at that point is a little sleepy themselves, because a little bit of a wake up call to the Edmonton side of things. But it came in once again unsuspecting way, and it came with some help. The tire blow and the sniper getting Gudas, and then just such a heads up play by Vasily Podkolzin behind the net on what would eventually be the game winner. So really entertaining hockey game. All 4 games on the slate yesterday were great. And I'm looking forward now to game number 2, as much as I was number 1. A lot of confidence, I would think, are reasons to be positive for both sides.
Well, you see, again, Beckett Seneca, I thought it was just off. I mean, it's like, first playoff game. It's, you're wide-eyed. I mean, holy smokes, he's a young guy. He's a rookie. But, Carlson was very visible last night. He is going to be a handful for the Oilers in this series. He's going to be a star in this league moving forward. That's how good this guy is. And then, I thought Dostal made some saves, but, Connor Ingram made a couple of massive saves. That one that he made late in the game on Leo Carlson when the seas just sort of parted for him and Carlson was all alone in the slot, and he made a beautiful save on Carlson there. So full marks to Connor Ingram. Again, it's in a 4-3 game. You just got to come up with the big saves. You know that it's not going to be a 2-1 game here. You got to come up with the saves at the right time. Granlund had the chance at the end of the game, at the very end of the game with like 15 seconds left. And I think the puck just rolled off his stick. He had an open net. I don't even think that Ingram probably got credited for a save there because the puck was probably going wide by a good foot. Matthias Ekholm was in the crease there too. So just when you look at the entirety of it, I mean, it was a good game. First period dominated by the Oilers. Second period was all Anaheim. And the third period, the Oilers found a way to pick up the victory. Elsewhere in the NHL last night, well, it was a real doozy between Carolina and Ottawa. Canes win at 3-2 in overtime to take a 2-0 series lead. A play, don't think we've ever seen it before. So it was a play where Jordan Martinook gets a tug on a breakaway. So there's a penalty call. Play continues. Then there's a goal that's scored, but hang on. Ottawa challenges. It's offside. So they go back to the previous part of the play. And it's not just a penalty, it's a penalty shot. Martinook gets a penalty shot. Big save, Linus Ullmark, who was fabulous last night. Unreal saves. Play continues again after the missed penalty shot. Goes to double overtime where Martinook gets the overtime winner. So unreal game there. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. I mean, yes, Philadelphia is playing hard and playing smart. But Pittsburgh is so uninspired. They look like they just want to get the hell out of here. They had, 5 power plays? Did they have 1 or 2 shots on goal? They give up the shorthanded goal where it's like a bunch of Keystone Cops running around between Novak and Letang. I mean, Stu Skinner for 2 games in a row has been easily the best player on the Pens. It could have been. He stops at 2-on-0, and again, that one's shorthanded by Philly. Stopped another opportunity. I mean, it could have been 10-0 last night. And then Dallas comes back to beat Minnesota by a score of 4-2. Get the empty netter. Nice little curling shot by Wyatt Johnson. So that series is 1-1. Hey, coming up on the big program, Andrew Walker, quick turnaround, turn and burn. Man, how do you get walks? Does he just say, when you go Duke, like when you say to him, all right, I know you're going to be working till midnight and something like that.
How
do you feel about
here's how I phrased the question last night, Kevin. I said, hey, Walks, looking for somebody to do a 720 hit with KK this morning, tomorrow morning. Is that something you'd be interested in?
I would tell you to go piss up a rope.
I always do tell him. Last night in particular, I said, if my parlay hits tonight, beers will be on me next time around. But Walker, as he came in studio randomly last week and hopped on with Connor and I for a few minutes. He's found some recent success at the casino, I believe. And so
is that right?
He's the one he texted me last night. He said, I am definitely way too invested in a Kapanen anytime goal scorer tonight. So I'm sure Walks slept just fine last night.
So he had a Kapanen.
I believe so. That's what he told me anyway.
You know, there's a pallet hanging around right by the elevator, and I was going to take a picture of it and send it to him. Thought it was kind of funny last night going up the elevator. Mark Spector, Frank Saravalli, our double barrel hockey insiders, going back to back at 8 and 8:20. Austin Mock from The Athletic, great guest. He is so fired up about the draft coming up in the NFL, which gets underway Thursday night from Pittsburgh. So we'll get Austin's thoughts on that. I think some people at The Athletic have maybe moved, they flip-flopped on who they think their number 1 pick is, in the sense that Arvel Reese is getting some legs, and even Jeremiah Love is getting some legs. So we'll see where he is with that. I'm sure he probably has Fernando Mendoza going number 1 to Vegas, but we'll see where Austin comes across with that. Also coming up on the big program in the 10 o'clock hour, we'll have Deandra Liu from the Hockey News, covers the Tampa Bay Lightning, and then Connor Halley from Fantasy Frenzy at 10:20. And once again, we'll take your text at 833-401-1440 all morning long. Hey, give us a call. You want to talk about the game last night? Call us at the same number. It's Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. When we come back, and Josh Fenwick, when we come back, we've got Andrew Walker coming up. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup. And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal.
My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Wilhock beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 7:21 in Edmonton, and time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, when we say we are on the road together, we mean it. From tires, wheels, and oil changes to vehicle repairs, visit fountaintire.com to find out more. As we welcome in Andrew Walker, our Sports 1440 pre- and post-game host. Good morning, Walks. Thanks for coming on, leading things off after a late one last night.
Yeah, it was a late one, but when it's an exciting win, you can, and people are on the text line, you can go a little deeper into the night. Doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah, if they would have lost, you wouldn't even got out of bed today, right? Or what?
Yeah, yes, I am. Playoffs. I'm hanging. I'm just hanging by a thread.
So give us your takeaways from that 4-3 game one win.
Well, so what I love about the playoffs is that all the conversations we have, like on your show and the regular season, boy, they had no effort tonight. They weren't ready to play and whatever. And fans always want to see their team just max it out. And the Edmonton Oilers have proven time and time again, they're just not necessarily that team in the regular season. What I love about the playoffs is, we can debate different mistakes or different personnel decisions, but like we'll rarely say, oh, they weren't ready to play, or, oh, they didn't have it, or they didn't work. Like, it's the playoffs. There's always effort. There's always work. So it takes away that level of criticism, which I love. All that said, listen, the Oilers didn't necessarily have their A game last night. Some players are very good. There was a lot of effort, a lot of block shots, a lot of work, but like McDavid was not great. Like, he didn't have a point in the Oilers win for the first time all year. He probably overhandled it a little bit. You know me, I'm big time team Bouchard. That was not playoff Evan Bouchard. He wasn't very good last night. No. Draisaitl, 2 assists, but he looked a little rusty on the finish, obviously. So listen, they won a playoff game, and they're going to be better in game 2. So it's very worrisome for the Anaheim Ducks. That was probably a game that they had to have, but I think if you're the Oilers, you're really happy to get that depth scoring and pull out a win when, we've seen them play better playoff games.
What did you think of the style that the Ducks played, most notably, when I'm talking about when the Oilers were trying to clear their zone without being, forcing the issue. Sometimes you are forechecking a little bit more, but a lot of the times the Ducks drop back a little bit.
Yeah, and it was a concerted effort, especially when McDavid had the puck, right? They clogged it up and they swarmed him, and McDavid's going to have to make an adjustment there. In terms of, there was a few times, like, we talk about having skill, and we always think that's just good hands and scoring a bunch of points. But I thought the Ducks showed a lot of skill, knocking pucks down and around the line, and good hand-eye. And in that second period, I thought the Oilers struggled a little bit there. And I thought Wallman played great, but his tough turnovers led to a penalty from Wallman, and Bouchard had a tough turnover. And listen, the Ducks, give them credit. They came out in the second period, and after getting dominated in the first, just really didn't change their game plan, and kind of showed that they're going to be in this series. So Anaheim's no joke. I thought that they gave up. I mean, they gave up more than the Oilers did last night for chances, certainly, but there was a commitment to some extra defense there from Anaheim. And if Radko Gudas doesn't blow that tire, who knows? Maybe they hang on.
The old sniper got him. Yeah, Duke. That's the first thing that Duke came in. I just looked at him and he goes, Radko Gudas. I said,
looks like
sniper
Thursday hockey.
You got that right. Andrew Walker with us here on Sports 1440. With his play, Matt Savoy, with his play and how he's performed, especially down the stretch, expectations have risen. I thought he was quiet last night, but how much does Savoy and even, Zach Hyman, for that matter, have to help Connor McDavid bust through all of this, again, this convergence and everyone's suffocating him? When there's more than one guy going on him, someone's going to be open. So how do these guys help Connor along to get away from this tight checking?
Yeah, no, exactly. I didn't think that line as a whole was very good last night. Like Hyman had, he was aggressive, had a bunch of hits. I didn't think they got him the puck too much down low because they were struggling to get the zone entry. I love Savoy, hell of a rookie season. Savoy last night, like when he first started this year, it looked like the pace was a little quick for him, like it was going to be an adjustment, and like he'd pick up the puck on the wall and turn, and then you'd be surprised there's a D-man there or a winger's there, and it's like, it's the NHL, it's not the American League anymore. And he gradually made these adjustments and then turned into the Oilers, one of their best players in the second half. Well, playoff hockey is another level, and last night he looked like he did at the beginning of the season, right? Guys were on him really quick, and he just seemed to not be ready for it. Now, to Knobloch's credit, he kept throwing him out there. You're not going to just, erase 2 months of good work and park him on the bench. But listen, Savoy was no good last night either. He has an adjustment to make to this higher pace. And listen, I would expect he will. We've seen playoff Hyman enough years. We know that he's going to be better. But again, you won a game in which that top line really was not that good last night, and you lost a centerman and Henrique, and so that all of a sudden, rather than mix match the centers, they just kind of left Doc and Frederick on the bench. They just played 8 minutes. So I would imagine we'll see Szymanski in game 2, but again, you won a game, and there's a lot of things that I think didn't go your way.
Well, and you were pretty happy with Kapanen's couple goals here, Walks?
Well, yes. So we were watching the game last night, and I text the wife, and I said, okay, you got to pick a player. We need to make a bet, because what I said is, like, playoffs are weird things happen, right? So it's not necessarily just betting on a Connor goal. Who do you like? And she said, playoff Kapanen. So we bet on Kasperi Kapanen to get a goal, and now I'm rich.
So you're not even taking credit for it. It was all Ange.
Oh yeah, no, so we made 2 bets. I picked Henrique and she picked Kapanen, and the fine folks at the sportsbook were nice enough to refund the Henrique bet after he got hurt 2 minutes in.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Yeah, how about that, eh?
Yeah.
But Kapanen paid off. Good call by she knows her puck.
Well, so do you split this or what? Like, if I were her, I would be just taking it all.
No. Kev, you've been married a long time. You know what the right call is here. I send her all the money, and that means I get to keep gambling.
Oh, for sure. Andrew Walker
because
with
this way, she's like, oh, gambling is good. And I say, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Walker with us here on Sports 1440. Also, like Jason Dickinson. And, when he went down again off that faceoff, it's almost like his knee or something just buckled. Maybe ankle, whatever leg. It just buckled on a weird play. And I'm like, oh, God, this is just a total aggravation of what happened when he took that shot from Bouchard late in the season. So, but, I mean, this guy, whatever he did last night was worth the trade and then some, just in the one game it seemed.
I know. So funny how that works. You can, not have a great regular season. And especially on this team, you can make a whole lot of new fans and make a whole lot of money on a new contract with a good postseason. And I was a little, when he goes down, like, I know that, it's not like these guys are Leon and Connor, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if you're down 2 centers in game 1 of the postseason, that's just not a good omen. But no, Szymanski came back and listen, I understand why they made the trade. I love the idea of the trade. And I know Dickinson as a player, I like the player. I like the profile of the player. But bit of a hot take, I don't think Dickinson's been that good as an Oiler so far. And I was kind of waiting for the postseason to see, okay, maybe his game and confidence translates, when it matters most. And then he gets hurt and they throw him back in. And it's like a new man. Like that breakaway move, great pass from Wallman, but like hands up if you knew he had that in his arm. Like, that was a goal scorer's goal right there. So, and then listen, a clutch goal to tie it. Those are 2 huge goals. That's an entire playoffs for some guys.
Mm-hmm. No, that move, when you can get the goalie to bite, and he had a little bit of flex in his stick, and there's no question that Dostal thought he was going to shoot, and then that just a quick little pivot, wide open net. Oh, man, it was just a beautiful, beautiful goal. Andrew Walker with us here on the Kevin Carey Show on Sports 1440. What did you think of the Oilers' power play, where that first one was really bad? The second one was better with a few looks, but I think even Leon was asked post-game, because we're talking about Leon getting back. He's been gone for 5 weeks, and it's almost like the power play was tied to what Leon was trying to do last night as well, and that's get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the power play. I thought just the personnel on it looked so much better than they did when they were trying to piecemeal it together. I think that like Leon wasn't unbelievable last night. He was obviously very effective, but like a prime dialed in with the scope Leon probably scores 3 goals last night, right? So he's going to score a lot of goals in this series. To me, it's just about the rust and him getting dialed in. So yeah, I thought the power play like looked better. And then the one power play where I thought, they were doing the drop pass to McDavid. He was overhandling it. He had to go through 3 guys and great sticks from Anaheim. So they're going to have to have a more of an array of zone entries. I mean, the one time, how desperate were they? They even dumped it in. That was weird. Yeah, they're going to have to go into their bag of tricks for their zone entries. But let's remember, this power play hasn't played together for a month.
What did you think of the Oilers' zone entries as a whole last night? And a lot of that has to do with McDavid being so tightly checked when he's nearing the Ducks' blue line. But as a whole, there were times where it was a little discombobulated.
Great in the first period. Obviously, the second period, they couldn't get the puck past the D, and that started to transition the other way. The third was better, and then obviously with about 13 minutes to go, when Anaheim started to dump the puck out, I knew they were going to tie it, right? At least I knew they were going to have chances to tie it, because you can't just defend for 13 minutes in a playoff game. It doesn't work that way. But listen, I think especially with, the Anaheim D, I love Lacombe, like what a player, but you got to run this guy every chance you get. And you can wear down Gudas, you can wear down those 5-6 guys. So, they can't be afraid. Obviously the big boys want to make a play, but you can't be afraid to chip it in behind the D and let the guys go get it.
Yeah. Gudas can just wear down himself. That's what can happen there. But
yeah, I got a lot of time for Gudas. If he wasn't, people, give him criticism for he's injured guys and whatever. But if he wasn't like just a psycho, he would have been out of the league psycho is a strong word, but if he didn't play like that, he would have been out of the league 8 years ago, right? I watched him when he played in Everett in junior in the WHL.
Mm-hmm.
He was the exact same guy, like beard and everything. He's carved out an amazing career. Now he's an NHL captain, which is, no one thought that was possible. I don't like the desperation knee on knee stuff, of course, but I got a lot of time for Gudas. The fact that he is still plugging along, like he's a worker for sure.
Andrew Walker with us in Sports 1440. When Dickinson's leg buckled on him, during that face-off, I said in the press box last night, I mean, we could see both Szymanski and Lazar come in for game 2. That's the first thing that I said. I don't think that's a possibility at all now, but Szymanski's a real possibility. And the good thing is that Szymanski with Doc and Frederick played well together down the stretch. And I mean, Doc and Frederick were banging, especially Doc had 8 hits. He had basically a hit every shift for 1 minute. He had a hit a minute that he played last night. So I think what do you think with Szymanski drawn in there, if that happens, assuming that Henrique's not ready to go?
Yeah, Szymanski's the guy. He made it really tough on the coaching staff to not play him last night. And I know there's some, a subsection of fans that were pretty pissed off that Henrique was in and not Szymanski. But listen, that cannot, like, if you've watched hockey, that cannot surprise you. Like, obviously Henrique and what he does on the draws and with the PK and the experience and, 15 years in the league, like, he is going to be on your game 1 playoff roster. There's no doubt. So that was never, for me, it was never in doubt. You don't want to see Henrique go down, but again, I don't think they lose a whole lot by bringing in Szymanski, and he can go, like you said, right back with Frederick and Doc. And again, that's a heavy line. They'll be great in the forechecking game too.
Out of the rest of the series that, obviously the Oilers were the last to get to the party here. Some teams have played 2 games already. Is there a series that surprised you with the performance of one team, maybe that's down 2-0, up 2-0? What are we looking at for your perspective on what's going on around the rest of the league here, Walks?
Let's, I picked Philly actually, because Pittsburgh plays a little loose and I think Philly's well coached and they play heavy. And I thought that was a good matchup for them. I didn't expect Pittsburgh to just be so, we were excited to see, Crosby back in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh has had no answers for the Flyers.
It's been embarrassing, to be honest with you.
Like nothing. There's been almost no life, even from Sid. So, credit to Tocchet and the Flyers. Like, you look at, like, Konechny led them with 68 points, right? They're not an overly offensive team. But then you play this style, Konechny, like, that plays in the playoffs. Martone, that plays in the playoffs. Owen Tippett. Like, I know some people get frustrated because it's like, can this guy ever get more than, 45 points in a year with all those skills? Tell you what, he's a hell of a playoff player. And Vladar's been good too. So Philly's really impressed me. And then Pittsburgh has been quite disappointing. The Dallas-Minnesota series, as advertised, like, there's no way that's not going 7. LA stinks. No surprise there. That's over in 4 or 5, and that goes a long way for Colorado because they're going to get a pretty beat up team no matter who they play. Ottawa, Ottawa lost 2 in Carolina. They'll be disappointed with that. But I think the story has just been Ottawa not scoring on their chances. Like, they've been right there with Carolina. Mm-hmm. So their margin for error now is very slim, but I don't think they're out of that series.
Walks, good stuff. It'll be another later one for you tomorrow night. Thanks for coming on to lead things off. Always really appreciate it. Maybe we'll see you at a Thursday hockey. Who knows?
Yeah, no problem. And I assume it's okay. I'm going right to the River Cree right now. Got to stay hot.
Why not? Why wouldn't you? Take care, man. We'll see you soon.
See you later.
Andrew Walker, our pre and post game show host here on Sports 1440. Yeah, the Duke just phones a guy. Yeah, you got to come on. You might as well. What the hell? You'll wrap up. You'll get home at 1 o'clock, but that's okay. That's okay. Speaking of time, Duke, now, next year, you can't be happy about how things are going to be operating next year with the time change that's not going to happen for West Coast games, because your Ducks, watching your Ducks next year, a lot of the games will be starting at 9:30. for if you want to watch them here.
Yeah.
Like if
well,
they were,
but we're also potentially eliminating time change.
No, that's what I'm saying. So we're not switching back the clocks in November.
But didn't BC already do that? I guess California didn't, though, so it wouldn't matter anyway. But besides the point, no. To long way of answer your question, yes, no, I'm not pleased about this.
I am not either.
I've long been on this train. I think we've talked about it on the show, going back to an in or out segment maybe 2.5 years ago at some point or another, saying, like, I don't care. And the people that really seem to be passionate about it don't understand that it's like right now is the different time. Winter is normal.
Right.
Like that's when it would be regular. So I'm indifferent, but the sports and TV viewing implications, that's really the only spot it would hit me in my current way of life. And as a result,
yeah, maybe I'm
some
wrong
even
on
later
the time
nights.
in BC, whatever. They did whatever it is. But the thing that people are going to, as soon as it happens here for the first year, Duke, people are going to go, what's happened to the productivity, not just with workers, but with our kids in school? Because they're going to go to school, and in the deep heart of winter, it's not going to be light out till 10.
Yeah. And BC actually, so I just double checked this.
Yeah.
So as of March 8th, which this year, they're adopting permanent daylight saving time. So they will not fall back come November. I didn't really read into this proposal by the Albertan government to eliminate daylight savings, if they're going to be on the same idea or what. Because correct me if I'm wrong here.
We'll be the same.
If Alberta adopts just Mountain Standard Time and Pacific Daylight Time, those are the same time. No?
Well, okay, like right now are we 1 hour difference in BC right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like this won't change for them until the fall.
So we'll be the same as BC then. So
that's what I'm saying.
So it'll be the same time, correct?
That's what I'm asking.
Okay. I don't know. It's just, to me, it makes not a lot of sense. I thought there was supposed to be a vote on it or something too.
For us or for them?
For us.
Well, I think it's still like hasn't the UCP just proposed it wouldn't have to pass. It'll have to pass through.
Well, they do whatever they want.
Good point,
Smitty.
Yeah, your buddy Smitty.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to hear some Oilers sound from last night. Probably Leon Draisaitl. First game back in 5 weeks. Was okay, man. And Connor Ingram as well. Fabulous game between the pipes. That third goal, Duke, was there a flyby screen by Kreider that you thought that?
Oh, 100. Yeah, like the screen by Kreider was the perfectly executed, like you call it like a sliding screen, right? Where he starts on one side and then essentially pivots away from where the puck is going. I don't know if that's a set type play or if it's just a great read by one of the best net front guys of a generation in Kreider and Terry, who he doesn't have like a blazer, but it's a very sneaky release. Like he's a good shooter. He scored 37 goals a couple of years ago, so it's clearly in his bag. But yeah, that's just really well executed, I think, from a net front perspective by Kreider.
Yeah. Hey, Doug Jones is correct in this. Like hockey's a minor thing about it. He's talking about everything else in the world about hockey or whatever time, blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying is you wait and see in next December or whatever, the productivity from workers, from students, from kids in school that are still looking out the window and it's pitch black at 10 bells, go and up north, way up north, talk about when the sun doesn't come out. And those kids, their productivity and everything else is down. It's down. And that's what's going to happen here too. When we come back, we'll hear some Oilers sound from Leon, possibly Connor Ingram on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. That was the Puck Report brought to you by Fountain Tire, by the way, with Andrew Walker. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today, and we focus on your spring driving. Probably time to get the tires changed over if you haven't already, too, as well. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, There's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Sports 1440.
All sports,
all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 7:47 in Edmonton. Quite a few texts coming in about our 2-minute conversation.
Kevin,
about,
why did Jeff open
I
this
don't
can
know
of
why.
worms? Because now everyone's coming after us because
Well-
we're idiots and we don't know what we're talking about, which is fine. And what I said was incorrect, but and feel free to run it back. I believe I framed it as a question, saying, "Are we doing it this way or are we doing it that way? As in, are we
I
staying
didn't know
on
what BC did.
I
don't
said,
care.
are we? My question was, are we staying on daylight time? Or are we staying on normal time in this expected removal?
We stay
and we're going to stay on daylight time. So we will still be an hour ahead of BC because they are doing the same and staying on daylight time. I just didn't know. I had not read into this very much because, as we said, I don't care. I don't have this problem with dealing with kids, anything like that. My life will not change, essentially, except for the actual hours of sunlight, depending on the season.
Chris came in and texted, I won't have to drive in the dark anyhow at night. I guess you won't, but in the morning, if you drive anywhere, especially dropping kids off and things like that, it's going to be not a lot of fun. At least a bit of brightness in the evening, he says. We did have a referendum recently, and a majority of Alberta said no. So not like this government isn't against trampling on our wishes. Fair. IMAC, another stupid decision pushed by the lazy lefts. So lazy they can't change the clock on their smartwatch. How about us skiers? The opening times will move an hour. Lazy bunch, lazy people here that can't get their asses out of bed before brunch.
But so just on that same thought,
Yeah,
on
the
the ski hill, you get to the hill like first run's an hour later, but his last run not also an hour later, so total hours are the same.
It will be the same. It just, you'd be starting later. Like you wouldn't really get to the hill till 10 in the morning, Duke?
Well,
like,
yeah.
Would you start
In
skiing
the
at
dead
10?
in the dead of winter, yeah. Like I said, it's not going to be light out till close to 10 o'clock. But instead of having to quit skiing at 4, you can quit skiing at 5.
Maybe people want to go eat supper by then. Maybe they're early risers. I don't know. Like you can argue this.
Kevin, you opened this can of worms.
I did.
This
And
is
I
on
love
you.
it. I love it.
This is on you.
Yeah. Look at this. Doug Jones says, I could definitely tell you as a skier. And the majority of skiers would think the same way. When you're on a ski trip, getting an hour extra sleep is pretty cool. There you go.
Well, yeah, depending on what you, especially if it's Kevin and Speck in Jasper and their pizza delivery man took the long way around to get them back to the hill.
Well, this will be a question for Speck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true. If we need a skier's expert opinion, Speck's the guy.
Yeah. Well, Daryl says golfing later is a win. Well, there's no difference for golf. Golf would be the same.
Because daylight time's the same.
Yes.
It's
There's no difference in golf. Had they gone the other way, Duke, now the golfing, then people would be up in arms, especially in the summer, because we want to enjoy the nights in summer, no?
100%.
Just think about that. And here, the thing is, like the provinces are so wide and massive. Like if you live on the east end of Saskatchewan, way different than you live on the west end. Same if you're in eastern Alberta and western Alberta. It's way different.
Imagine what it's like if you live in a much wider province, like Ontario or
absolutely.
Quebec.
Yes. Leon Draisaitl came back. You got to give this guy credit last night for coming back as fast as he could and working his ass off to get back in the lineup. Training hard, recovering, everything else. And he had a decent game last night. Decent. He coughed the puck up too many times. Some hope passes and things like that. But he had a couple of assists, and it was integral part in that line. Obviously, put Colson and Kapanen. That was the line that drove it along with Dickinson. Leon had these comments after the game.
A couple from Dickinson, a couple from Kapanen. Like how clutch is that for those two?
It's everything this time of year. Your top players have to be your top players, but you're not going anywhere if you don't have guys like that chipping in. And we don't expect 2 goals from guys like that every night, of course, but you need that. And both of them I thought played a heck of a game.
Yeah, what was the mood and what was discussed after the second period?
Just not our game. Too many turnovers, too many not hard enough on pucks. And then, sometimes it's just about simplifying a little bit, right? And thought we did a decent job of that.
What could you say about the Ingram's game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, really good. Huge stop there in the third on that 2-on-1. That's the game pretty much. So he gave us a chance, so he was big.
How did you feel after being out for a month?
I felt okay. Certainly going to take a couple games to really be myself and really trust myself again. But for a start, I thought it was okay.
What do you see from Dickinson, and just in terms of the grind to get back in, and then for him to have the night he did?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think he's been waiting to play playoff hockey for a long time now, a couple of years, and it's exciting. You know, guys like that, they're invaluable to a team, and really, really happy for him. Yeah, obviously a great night for him.
You described your game, and maybe you need a little bit of time here. Do you feel like the power play is the same? Will it need a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we had obviously not our best, not our sharpest, but there's a couple looks there that, you know, if we didn't, or if I didn't miss a couple weeks, you know, I'm much more clean on those, and you know, there's a chance to connect on it. So certainly we'll chip away at it and be better next game.
What was your first impressions on the Ducks team in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're skilled. We knew that they can score. They're good off the rush. You know, they can all skate. It's a good hockey team. Not much else to say. Good team. Two good teams going at it. So, yeah, take it from here.
Leon, how recently did you feel like you'd be good to go in this game? I know you've been looking back for a while.
Like in terms, sorry.
Like 2 or 3 days ago, you started.
I mean, you kind of take these day by day. Obviously, I was skating a couple of days and testing it out, and you know, it ramps up in terms of intensity and whatnot. So, yeah, take it day by day and see how you feel.
That's Leon Draisaitl last night after the game. And again, it's about recovery for him for today. And you can practice as hard as you want. And, you know, I would say that even in the last 3-4 days of practice leading up, that Leon came back and was, a regular with the lines and being, inserted with Podkolzin and Kapanen. It's different. I mean, they weren't doing like heavy duty battle drills and little things like that. I think you're still always conscious of it. You want to make sure that you don't re-aggravate anything. So I think that's a hell of a start for Leon, and to pick up a couple of points. I mean, on the winning goal, very integral, ringing it around to put Podkolzin and then a great pass to Kapanen. So coming up at the top of the hour, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Also, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunication, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers take the game one of their first round series against the Ducks last night. 4-3 the final. Jason Dickinson and Kasperi Kapanen each scoring twice in the victory. Connor Ingram making 25 saves. Around the rest of the NHL playoff picture, the Dallas Stars even their series with Minnesota, the 4-2 victory. The Hurricanes get the double OT winner from local kid Jordan Martinook to beat the Sens 3-2, open up a 2-0 series lead. And the Flyers blank the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-0. Dan our first career playoff shutout. Flyers now with a 2-0 series lead in Pennsylvania. Over in the association, the Raptors come up short against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 115-105 the final. Donovan Mitchell leading the way for the Cavs with 30 points. Cleveland now leads that series 2-0. The Atlanta Hawks come back big in the second half and beat the Knicks 107-106 to even that series at 1 game apiece. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, 30 points from best player Anthony Edwards, gets them past the Nuggets 119-114. That series now even at 1 game apiece. Off the court, unanimously, Victor Wembanyama named as the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. 22 years old, he becomes the youngest player to ever take home the hardware. And across the majors yesterday, the Toronto Blue Jays get a home run from Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and a stalwart performance from Dylan Cease on the hill. They beat the Angels 5-2 from Anaheim. Elsewhere, Boston tops Detroit 8-6. Houston gets past Cleveland 9-2. And Baltimore tops Kansas City 7-5. Coming up in hour 2 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Do you have neck or back pain? Ever go for treatment hoping for a simple fix only to realize your stubborn spine is basically a science project with attitude? Hey, we get it. And honestly, we're a little sorry because great rehab does take proper experimenting. But at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we don't just toss exercises into the beaker and hope it doesn't explode. We start with the right diagnosis, then mix hands-on care, precise manual therapy, and evidence-based technology. The formula your body actually needs. Science and skill with gratitude, not attitude. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program, 801 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. Time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Spring is coming. Well, we think it is. We had great weather yesterday, pretty good today, but then, the rest of the week's not that great, to be honest with you. Man, oh man, but it's coming. It's got to come. So are the Corvettes at Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Come see the vets inside Northgate showroom and get 0% financing. See more at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I kind of blabbed, before we get to the Oilers, I blabbed my mouth off about permanent daylight saving time coming in. So the one thing that was brought up on our text line, Spec, was the skiers. So for you being a skier, this technically means you're not going to get to the hill till probably 10 in the morning. You can ski an hour later, with the light out.
Right.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer going out earlier, like an hour earlier, like, with the sun in the morning, or later in the day?
I would probably rather do everything earlier.
Mhm.
You know, like I prefer to be able to, if you're telling me when do I get to start skiing, I'd sure like the option to ski at 9 o'clock if I want to. If it's
Yeah.
not even an option, I got to ski at 10. Well, what's that do for half day passes now? That means if I'm a guy that wants to just ski the afternoon, what time do I show up? 2:30?
I don't know. Yeah.
You know.
Can a half day pass work in the morning then or not?
No, it's usually the afternoon.
Yes. Yeah, you would be right. You would start it at, were the half day passes at 1:30 at Marmot? You know?
I don't know. I don't even remember at this point, frankly. But my point is, I'm just a guy. If we're talking about what the options are,
Mhm.
I like to start my day. I mean, I'm up to do. You're up earlier than me, but I don't feel like having to wait around for the daylight. I don't feel like having to wait around. I don't love the whole thing.
No.
I don't know. This is the age we're in. I sound old when I say that everything has to change. Nothing can stay the same. There's always a better option out there that we always have to go for. And here we are. This has been a good system for a million years. And now BC changes. Now Saskatchewan changes. So I get it. We're caught in the middle. And now our premier does a huge survey and everyone says what they want. And she picks the exact opposite thing. So, this is welcome to 2026, folks.
Mm-hmm. I just, again, I think once we get into like next November, December spec, like into January, people are going to go, I think I liked it the other way. I liked it the way it
You
was.
think they will? Yeah. Yeah. Well, typical. I mean, the one thing that we know here is when the Oilers do a road trip in January through San Jose, Anaheim, LA, and those games start at 7:30 in local time Pacific, they're going to start at 9:30 in Edmonton, right?
No, because there'll be 1 hour difference still.
So are we joining BC or are we joining Saskatchewan in January? I think it's getting later.
Well,
I
no,
know
BC spec and Alberta are going to permanent daylight saving time. Not savings, by the way. It's just saving.
Okay. I don't know, man. Like I don't have my head around the whole thing, obviously, but listen, we'll adjust. If they change the rules, we all adjust and we figure it out. But I know that everyone's telling me that the teams like Edmonton in springtime turns into a central time zone team for the purposes of double headers.
Mm-hmm.
And those central time zones are the worst division for the NHL to figure out how to make Edmonton's going to be the back end game, folks.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be Edmonton, especially when they're good like this. The network wants McDavid on an exclusive game. They're not going to put it on halfway through the Eastern game. They're going to wait till the Eastern game's over.
I think it's more spec. Like, let's just say, like, if you still want to have a hockey night in Canada double header.
Okay, 5 and 8.
And let's that's what it's been, 5 and 8. Well, technically, it would be starting time would be later here. It would be 9 o'clock here.
That's right.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter going out west. It's about here. If Hockey Night in Canada still wants a double header, a true double header.
Well, they do.
Then the start times would be at 9 o'clock here.
Which is, I don't know what Sportsnet will do, but that doesn't work for anybody having a 9 o'clock game.
Well, they'd have to overlap them.
But what I don't understand, and that doesn't work because I like watching the Eastern game. But if you're telling me that 8 o'clock turns into 9 o'clock in that scenario, if California keeps their time the same, why doesn't a game that starts at 8 o'clock right now, Edmonton time, Edmonton at the Sharks, why isn't that turning into 9 o'clock too?
I don't know.
Like that's my understanding. Is the road trip through California is going to be 9:30 starts. So on a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday road trip in the middle of December, we got to wait till 9 o'clock for puck drop.
If it's a local time puck drop at 8 spec in Anaheim, then it's 9 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Point is, I think we're changing something that doesn't need changing. But what do I know? I'm just a dumb sports writer.
No, you're
what about
not.
The game last night.
You're not a dumb sports writer. Yes. I mean, I'll tell you what, almost a perfect first period, and then all of a sudden it's just a nap time to start the second. And man, oh man, I'll tell you what, you look at the guys that came to the forefront last night in Dickinson and Kapanen, and you don't get a point from Connor McDavid, and it's their first win without a point, and Evan Bouchard's Dozy for the opening game. I think that's good news for the Oilers that they were able to pull one out here.
Oh, it's huge good news. Like I wrote that last night at midnight, and everybody, I'm sure I'm not the only guy to say it.
Yeah.
When you get all the things you just named, when Zach Hyman doesn't have an impact on the game offensively, Bouchard wasn't good. Your most effective defenseman was Jake Wallman. He's your number 5 guy. The whole top line on Edmonton didn't have a point, right?
Yeah.
So all of those things, when I'm Anaheim, if you told me you're going to do all those things in one game of the series, I'm going to say to you, I better win that game because, let's think this through. Are we going to get another game where the top line doesn't get a point? Are you
No.
going to get another game where Connor McDavid gets shut right out off the score sheet? Is Evan Bouchard's game going to get better? It always gets better.
Yeah.
So yes, this was the Oilers played okay and got a win, and thanks to their depth guys. That's a huge, it's almost a metaphor for what you need in the playoffs. The big boy, your best players aren't your best players. Someone else has to be. And last night they won a game because they found a few other guys who were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned Wallman. That's one of the best passes I've seen on that Dickinson. Man, what a laser just right up the gut to get Dickinson on all of them. The move was
very
even
good the whole night. Very, very good, Wallman.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, there was a couple times too where he was Jake Wallman that we've seen this year, but he was way better. He was closer to Jake Wallman last year playoff and down the stretch than what we've seen at times this year for sure.
Yeah. Sure, there's a decent player there, and to me, like, we can put the contract in the back burner for a while because it doesn't matter right now. If he's on your third pairing, you probably have a decent third pair. And I think what we're going to see as crunch time comes with the Oilers is, we're going to see 5 guys playing a lot. And we're going to see 4 guys playing even more. Like, I think that's the defense breakdown that they'll have in this playoffs, and if guys stay healthy. So good sign last night. Anyhow, they get through a game where, again, their top pair, their big boy Bouchard, he wasn't his night. He gave you one of those games that we've seen before, but we don't see often this time of year. And I've got, I'm going to say to you, history tells us he always bounces back from that.
What did you think of how the Ducks were? And I mean, Connor McDavid has had to deal with this his whole career. I mean, he's getting double teamed. He's getting triple teamed. Now he has to find a way to defer to Matt Savoy, who was quiet last night, or Zach Hyman, and then dart to the other holes because they're really, really cognizant of, enveloping him spec. And that just they're tiny little taps to the stick. But if he can lose control of the puck, and that's what they're trying to do. So it's more about Connor, I guess, using his guys maybe moving forward here. What do you think?
Well, I mean, what happened last night? Did the Anaheim Ducks, after 10 years in the league for Connor McDavid, did they finally unearth the great way to stop Connor McDavid? Is that a strategical gem that's going to hold up the rest of the series and everyone else is going to do it? And now Connor McDavid is going to be a guy that doesn't get any points when it counts? Is that what happened here? Or did Connor McDavid just have kind of a lousy game?
Yeah. I think he had a lousy game. Like, again, you're trying to force stuff, right, Spec? And you want it so badly, and you want to be a part, and you want to say, I'm the guy here, and he is the guy. And I think sometimes it just doesn't work. There were times, like, how many times did he dart around Trouba or Gudis? I mean, he had opportunities. There's no question.
I'm not good credit to Anaheim. They kept the best player in the world off the scoreboard last night. That's great. It starts with excellent coaching. Like, they really lined their guys up on the PK at the blue line and forced McDavid to dangle through not one but 2 guys. And there has to be a viable solution for that from an Oilers perspective.
Mm-hmm.
If there's 2 guys coming to McDavid and it's on the power play, how many guys are wide open? Like, that can't be a tough fix. But I would say to you, Kevin, we've watched the guy for 10 years. Anaheim's not the first team to ever figure, hey, let's put 2 guys on Connor McDavid. It's been going on forever. And last night wasn't Connor's night. He bobbled pucks. Many of the moves he tried didn't work, and that just doesn't happen to him very often.
Mm-hmm.
No one's saying he's not trying or he's
none of that
stuff. Like, it just wasn't his night. It doesn't get to be your night every night. give Anaheim credit. They're going to come back and do the exact same thing they did. And it's up to the Oilers coaches to maybe give McDavid an option or two. And, you know, the McDavid that I know, when he just watched his team win a game and he didn't get any points, he's probably quietly saying to himself, well, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah. Do you think we saw like a little bit of a different style from Anaheim? I thought we did spec in as far as how they sort of clogged up the neutral zone when the Oilers had controlled breakouts, and they were not clean by any stretch. And that's how I thought, because of the system that Anaheim played last night.
Yeah, they certainly have gone to school on their defensive play. And the book on Edmonton, and it's really the book on Anaheim, is don't let them fly through the neutral zone, particularly McDavid. Don't let them enter your zone at warp speed. You got to slow them down. And in the old days, that meant the old hook and ride through the neutral zone, and that was legal. Well, it's not legal anymore. And frankly, that's why style like the Kings play doesn't really work very well anymore, because, you know, when Jacques Lemaire's teams clogged up the neutral zone, they also hook and rode and slowed you down physically. They impeded you, right? They interfered with you. Now you got to do it with body position or you get a penalty, and it's a lot harder. So I give Anaheim credit. They altered their regular season game with a punctuation on defensive awareness. And yeah, they didn't back up in the neutral zone like the Kings do, but they were smart in the neutral zone. They were well positioned. And remember who one of their assistant coaches is. He was a head coach here in Edmonton. So Jay Woodcroft has a exceptionally good idea what the Oilers' strengths are, and probably a pretty good idea how to nullify some of those.
So good chance we'll see Josh Szymanski tomorrow, you think?
Yeah, I thought that Knobloch, who always is very evasive on injuries, I thought he had to catch himself last night before he said that Henrique's going to be out for a while. That was the sense I got when Knobloch was at the podium. He really left with an impression that, yeah, you're not going to see Henrique tomorrow and who knows when. Now, I want to say more news is coming, but it doesn't have to be. They may say nothing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the playoffs have begun and there was a couple injuries. Dickinson came back from his injury to score a huge goal last night, but I don't love the fact he didn't make it through one game without going down.
It was weird too. It just sort of buckled on him,
Yeah.
It was just
It
weird.
wasn't a shot. It wasn't a slash. It wasn't a hit. The injury itself kind of buckled on him, and you don't love that. That tells me that, that injury didn't completely disappear. But I've said to you on this show at some point earlier this week that it wouldn't surprise me if over the course of the playoffs, Szymanski took that role from Henrique.
No.
And this is obviously a different scenario. It's an injury scenario, but I think Szymanski, if Szymanski's my 4C, I'm fine with that. He'll get experience, which is a really nice thing for a young guy to play at this time of year. He'll be way better for it. Instead of Henrique, who's a 36-year-old pending UFA, who's probably not coming back. I'd love to give that time to Szymanski. And let's see how the kid does.
Yeah, just a quick thought on the fourth line for Anaheim last night. I mean, Quenneville he didn't care. He threw him up against Connor's line. He didn't care what they went in. And between, Washi, VL, and Moore were really good last night here, Spec.
Yeah, I was surprised at the same time. Like, Vail played 11 and a half minutes on the fourth line. Tim Wash is centerman. Washi, I believe it is.
Yes.
Washi.
Yeah.
Played 14 minutes.
Yeah.
So, good for – whatever they did worked. Anaheim, like, out of 60 minutes of that game, Anaheim, they got their share. They got their share of that game.
That line almost opened the scoring, Spec. It was pulled back, right, with the interference.
Yeah. So I don't, good for Joel. He's not just leaning on his offensive guys. And I think if I'm Joel Quenneville in this thing, I want to win. There's no question, but I don't want to let this series pass and only give meaningful experience to 10 guys. Like this, you got to pull your whole team. All the players you value need to get something out of this series. And I'm not telling you this is just a little bit of a lesson and they're going to pick up their golf clubs and go away. That's not what I'm saying. But you can't let it pass here without all your guys that you're going into next year with, being able to say, hey, we had meaningful playoff minutes. We learned some meaningful playoff lessons. For instance, he's putting in a defensive system I didn't see much of with Anaheim this year. And everybody needs to be able to say, hey, we learned how to do this, and we can do it at a snap of a finger next year when we're in a tight game. So good for Joel Quenneville. He's not just leaning on the same 6 forwards.
He's a hell of a coach. Good stuff,
He's a hell
Spec.
of a coach.
We'll see you down at the rink tomorrow, big guy.
Hey, sounds good, Kev.
Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet on the mark, powered by Northgate Chevrolet. This truck's for you. When we come back, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. We're going to go around the NHL. And the first question to Frank, how nutso is it going to be in Philly tomorrow? Wow. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact, because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. If you're tired of slow, unreliable internet connections like I am, check out Starlink. It's fast, reliable, even in bad weather, and even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of Central Alberta, we tried everything to get reliable internet, but we're always left with buffering video and half-loaded websites. There's nothing worse than losing your connection while streaming the big game. I'm getting mine set up soon and can't wait. If you're ready for better internet, order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-800-GO-STARLINK.
Looking for auto parts without the dealership price tag? You'll save big here at Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlaw. From engines and alternators to doors and glass, we carry quality tested used parts at unbeatable prices. Why spend thousands when you can spend hundreds? Keep your car and your budget running strong with Ed's Auto Salvage. I'm Lisa, inviting you to stop in soon or visit us online. We offer province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton. edsautosalvage.com.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
Back to the big program, 8:21 in Edmonton. Time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the only team that you want in your corner when things get messy. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca as we welcome in Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank.
How you doing, Kevin?
Excellent, Frank. I'm sure you're doing well as well, but I just want to get your thoughts on how insane that you think that Xfinity Mobile Arena will be tomorrow night.
It'll be pretty jacked up. First home playoff game since 2018 in South Philadelphia. And I would say that nothing quite has Flyers fans frothing at the mouth like the Penguins and being up 2-0 in a series. It's kind of like wins in any sport are good, but like Eagles beating the Cowboys just means more. Flyers beating the Penguins just means more.
Yeah. Oilers beating Calgary just means
100%.
more. Yeah. So Phillies played well here, Frank, but how disappointed are you what you've seen from Pittsburgh so far?
I'd say pretty disappointed and surprised. I mean, this Penguins team has a ton of veteran talent and experienced talent, having won 3 Stanley Cups together. And they looked really nervous in game 1. Game 2, unable to create much. Sidney Crosby, he has 138 points scored in his career against the Flyers, the most that anyone's ever scored against the Flyers. And he has no points in his first 2 playoff games. I just imagined this moment, Sid tasting the playoffs for the first time since 2022 and may never get a crack again in Pittsburgh, that he'd want to take full advantage. And he's looked off kilter to me. He's looked at times bordering on unhinged. And I think I saw last night 11 for 30 in the faceoff dot. 11 for 30. That's crazy.
I'm trying to put my finger on it too, Frank. I watched that game almost in its entirety, because it was just before the Oilers and things like that. The second goal, I don't think I've ever seen such a piss poor performance from a team as a whole on the power play on that second goal last night.
Just outworked.
Yeah.
Outworked. Owen Tippett, that was a beautiful shift from him. Giving up a shorty, it's inexcusable.
Yeah. And I mean, Stu Skinner's been great here in this series.
Yeah, he's been good. I mean, he's been serviceable. He's given them every opportunity to win. I don't think you can ask much more.
No, he's been really good. Do you think the atmosphere, and I don't want to compare it to Buffalo with what we saw in game number 1 on the weekend, Frank, but I mean, because it's been such a long time there, but will it be similar? Like, I mean, as you said, it's coming up 10 years here, or 8 years, I guess it would be.
Yeah, similar but different. I mean, Buffalo had a whole different kind of angst. I mean, it felt like the true fabric of their franchise was tearing apart, with fans really becoming apathetic and going by the wayside after 14 straight years of no playoffs. So I don't think it's kind of quite the same, but I'll tell you what, living here my entire life, there's never been a moment where the Flyers have mattered less than these last few years. The Flyers had always been, if you're ranking the top 4 teams in the market, it's always been a football town. It's always been Eagles 1. And then for a while, it was Flyers 2, even ahead of the Phillies. And they've been a very clear 4th of 4 for the last handful of years. And now they're getting back. A dormant hockey market is awakening.
If they win a series or 2, Frank, do they get back to 2 or tied with the Phillies?
I don't think so. The Phillies have been on a run for a bit. It's going to take a lot with a World Series appearance, a couple of them now in the last 15 years. Like it's going to be really hard to top the Phillies.
And Porter Martone, man, a couple goals, 2 games. Wow.
First teenager ever in NHL history with game-winning goals to open his career.
Frank Saravalli, Victory Plus TV, with us on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. The Ottawa-Carolina series, that play last night, never seen anything like it. No one knew what the hell was going on, Frank.
It was wild. And I think the crazy thing was watching as they were reviewing the play. So the linesmen are on the tablets, right? And you could see the referees in the scorer's crease there. They were like, they had their hands covering their mouth, and they were like, oh no, they were talking to each other. And you could see that they were they were obviously discussing something, not really sure what it was, but that idea and notion of, man, we're going to hit them with the penalty shot on the back end of this if this is no goal, that threw everyone through a loop. The idea that the goal gets wiped off, Martinook has on his stick NHL history, first ever OT Stanley Cup playoff game to end with a penalty shot. He misses and then somehow goes to another OT and he finally gets redemption. It's almost like the hockey gods decided to make things right. And now the Sens are in a really tough spot.
They are in a tough spot, but they're right there. They got to win game 3, obviously, but Carolina plays such a disciplined type of game.
I don't see it.
You don't see Ottawa
winning 4 of 5. No.
Nothing, not even close. Nothing.
No, I think they're in the games, but in the games doesn't mean in the series.
Mm-hmm.
You had to win 1 in Carolina to plant a seed. This team has had too much experience. They've won a round every year that Rod Brindamore has been the coach, and their stick-to-itiveness to what exactly they do and their identity, they're more drilled and well-trained than any team in the league of knowing exactly what they are.
Yeah. The Minnesota Wild, after that first game, that they're not 6-1 better than Dallas, and Dallas isn't 6-1 lesser of a team than that. So is that last night's game more what this series is going to be, you think?
I think it's going to be a back and forth seesaw battle. I mean, even in the third period, Minnesota had some of those are score effects, right? But Minnesota had so many good looks and opportunities. The sequence with back-to-back too many men penalties was fascinating. Jake Ottinger needed to have his best game, and he did. He was electric from puck drop. I think, when you consider the West, it's probably fair to say that Jake Ottinger is the best goalie standing, right?
I'll give you that.
Well, I think what's interesting is that in almost any playoff run the Dallas Stars have been in, and having been out-dueled by Stuart Skinner in back-to-back conference finals, I don't know that he's really ever had his moment in the postseason, aside from that, was that series against Calgary?
Yeah. Well, Calgary ended up, that was the overtime game 7, correct?
Was it like 70 shots?
Yeah.
Something crazy?
Johnny Hockey, correct? So
yes.
Then
But other than that, he hasn't had that playoff moment that you're saying, oh, this is a clear differentiator between himself and the rest of his peers. And maybe this is that spring.
Yeah. He was good, last year up until they faced off with the Oilers.
But sub 900 in both Western Conference finals. If I'm not mistaken.
So he was good before they got to the Oilers. He was good. So he needs to carry that well past what we're seeing in round 1 here, for sure.
You're going to have a tough time dispatching Minnesota. I'll tell you that.
It'll be a hell of a series for sure. So we mentioned Boston and Buffalo, just the atmosphere was, that you can't get a better chance for the Bruins to close out a game and for them to kind of let one get away. Can they get back in this series with Buffalo, or do you think Buffalo now has a little taste of what's about to happen here?
Well, I could see it both ways. I think we're going to learn a lot more about the Sabres tonight than we are about the Bruins.
Mm-hmm.
How comfortable do they get after coming back and winning that game, getting that taste, as you mentioned, of success in the postseason? It made 5,400 days worth the wait for Sabre fans.
Yeah.
But now, with the ability to take a stranglehold in this series, do they put the pedal down or do they let up? And Boston's going to cut. Boston played a great game 1, save for the last 8 minutes. And even halfway through the period in the third on Sunday, you're going, there's no chance the Sabres are coming back. They're dead in the water. They're not even able to create anything because Boston had done such a good job clogging up the neutral zone and preventing shot attempts that it's up to Buffalo tonight to dictate and determine the pace. And if they let Boston hang around, I think they're in for one.
Frank Saravalli with us on Sports 1440. I thought Tampa Bay would be a lot more physical against Montreal in game 1. Would you expect that to be ratcheted up a notch tonight in game 2 for Tampa?
Or maybe have you underestimated when thinking about Montreal?
No, I
You think-
haven't.
Well, let me finish. Have you underestimated when thinking about Cole Caulfield and Lane Hudson and some of their high skill guys that they have someone like a human meat missile in Josh Anderson, and Brendan Gallagher was a healthy scratch? There's some more sandpaper that maybe the Montreal Canadiens are a little bit more difficult to play against than we realized.
I wouldn't say that. I give Montreal full credit. I just expected more physicality and more.
What I'm saying is maybe Montreal is better equipped to handle it than you may have realized.
So what's
meaning
different?
they've got the skill, but Slavkovsky's a big body, and Anderson, and their defense is pretty big and mobile outside of Hudson. Like I'm looking at that group saying they're able to take Tampa's best punch.
Okay, how different is Montreal right now compared to when Washington ran them out of the building last year?
Oh, I see. I think that's a mistake in saying that. I don't think Washington ran them out of the building last year. I was immediately following all 5 of those games last year on Sportsnet, and that is the closest 5-game series you could possibly play. There were blown leads in the third period. I don't think they were ran out of the building.
Okay.
I think that's a mistake.
Well, I think Washington was a lot more physical in the series than what we saw from Tampa Bay in game 1. And I don't
think that's the recipe for success for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They tried to do that to the Florida Panthers. They tried to run them into the third row of the seats.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't win.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to really keep an eye on how physical Tampa is tonight in game number 2. Hey, you know what? Even in the Mammoth and Golden Knights series, I mean, Utah had a chance there. They were up in 2 goals in a minute and a half, one by Mark Stone and then the second one by Dowd, I believe. That got, the Golden Knights. I mean, they were in a little bit of trouble in game number 1. Do you think this is going to be as easy for the Knights as some people think, or is Utah going to be able to give them a run here?
No, I think Utah is able to compete in. I view it kind of similarly to the series that we were just talking about with Ottawa and Carolina. They're in the games, but I don't know if that means they're going to be in the series. I think Vegas has a pretty clear and defined advantage with the way that they've played just over the last few weeks. Utah has high-end skill, speed, and depth, but they're not difficult to play against. I think not only can you push them around, I think there are moments that they wilt. And I think you saw that lapse for just a few minutes time where Vegas was able to take advantage that Utah just isn't a hardened playoff team yet. And they're going to need to change some personnel, I think, in order to become one. It's great to accumulate all this high-end stuff. And they've got some really nice pieces. Like, don't get me wrong. I just think they're a step or two away from where they can really be taken seriously as a team that can make noise and contend.
Are you going to the game tonight in Philly, Frank?
Tomorrow night, yes.
Sorry, tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah. Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with a credential.
Oh, I thought maybe you were going to take your son or something.
Nah. He's not a Flyers fan. In fact, the night that they went to that shootout to advance, I said, hey, he was already in bed. I said, come down here. Like, you want to watch the Flyers make the playoffs? He's like, for what? They stink. I was like, all right, okay, geez.
Well, I just thought maybe he'd want to experience the atmosphere. I mean, I'd like a comparison. And you've been here for the Stanley Cup final, and
he's been there for the Cup final. Like he's so spoiled. Like he gets the environment. He doesn't like his whole thing is like, wake me up when it's serious. So he's a brat. That's why he's the most front runner fan possible. Anyone good is who he latches himself to.
Oh man.
Which is no good. Like, that's not how I grew up in Philly. Like, you're either like you're 4 for 4 or don't even bother.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bother talking to us about anything.
What was that guy when you went to the Eagles game right in front of you? Didn't he have a couple earrings or something like that? Or
the dangly earring.
Yeah.
An Eagles, old school Eagles logo, dangly earring. Yeah.
Hey, enjoy the game tomorrow night, Frank. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kevin.
That's Frank Saravalli, Victory Plus TV, and our headliner of the day brought to you by Mr. Rooter. knocking your plumbing problems out of the park. That's mrrooter.ca. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. Maybe we'll hear from Connor Ingram. We got to get to a Cam and Eggs edition some point this morning as well. It's Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
I've got some good news. If you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck, the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Do you work for a company that wants to reach people who love sports? Or maybe you're looking to hire people who love sports. Sports 1440 partners with dozens of local businesses, connecting with tens of thousands of Edmonton sports fans every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. Contact our sales team today to see what Sports 1440 can do for you. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca to get started.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
There's nothing like a spring sunset by the lake. Oh, wait, that's a pothole. And that was a new truck. Oh, what the Springtime in Edmonton also means project time with help from Metal Supermarkets. Huge inventory cut to your precise requirements, plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Your game, your station. Sports 1440.
And watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Right. Welcome back to the big program. 8:43 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. Coming up at the top of the hour, we've got Austin Mock. We'll talk about the NFL draft on Thursday. Deandra Lou from the Hockey News covers the Tampa Bay Lightning at 10. And the con man, Connor Halley from Fantasy Frenzy and the Jason Greger Show, our regular 10:20 Tuesday contributor. On the subject of the NFL, just noticing that Mike Tomlin's going to be joining the NFL Network. I believe it's the NFL Network, if I'm correct in saying that. So he's got some time to, if he wants to decide what he's going to do coaching-wise and things like that. But, I mean, gosh, it's funny to think, again, the three head coaches in Pittsburgh, going back Chuck Noll and then Chin Man and then Mike Tomlin. Three coaches for, decades. Unreal. Text 833-401-1440. Kenneth, my buddy Kenneth texts in. Joel Quenneville, having Hines in was a clear mistake. Goals on both sides with guys standing around. Watching in the playoffs is wild. All right. Okay, the first goal is an amazing pass to a guy with speed in Dickinson. Like, the other team is playing too here, Kenneth. Amazing pass by Jake Wallman. Now, the third goal, you're going to blame Hines for Radko Gudas toe-picking, sniper in section 204, and now that's Hines' fault? Come on, Kenny. Beaumont Garrett, and I was trying to think what it was. Yeah, it said Sunday Night Football for Mike Tomlin. Sunday Night Football. Thanks, Beaumont Garrett. Not Fred says, not sure if you guys mentioned it already, but Colton Dock had 8 hits in 8 minutes. Yes, we did. We said it was basically a hit per minute. And there are guys that can play 5 minutes a night, 6 minutes a night, 8 minutes a night, and they don't bitch and complain. They don't, and they're ready to go whenever they're called upon. Colton Dock is that guy. And now he's brought Trent Frederick into this mentality, this fight. Frederick just had 3 hits last night, but he was involved in a lot of areas where there was a lot of crap going on. Yeah, even how about there was that one little instance in front of the net, and it was Doc going to the net. Gudas gave him a little shot, and then Frederick came in, gave Gudas a shot. I think we're going to see a little more of that. Zach Hyman had 8 hits to go along with Doc. That reverse hit late in the third from Jackson Lacombe, and Hyman was going in to level him, and Lacombe is standing still. This guy is a monster out there. Big, strong. And he just basically, and it wasn't even that bad of a reverse hit. We've seen way worse reverse hits than that. It was more just a guy bracing himself. But Duke, you've watched Lacombe all year. I mean, this guy's a big dude, man.
He is,
he's
and
30.
When I think for people that maybe don't watch the Ducks play very frequently, he doesn't come across as a guy that would be physical by nature, right? Because he's the smooth skating, point producing power play guy. He plays in all situations of a lot of the time. But even go back to the game here in January, right, Kevin? That high scoring back and forth affair where both Ekholm and Granlund had hat tricks that the Oilers ended up winning. Like, there were 3 or 4 times in that game that Lacombe had some like open ice hits on guys, including Hyman. Most notably, was one of the bigger ones in that game. So he is a physical player, and his size lends itself to that. It just kind of shows that this is the style of player that Pat Verbeek is interested in having. Look at the players he's moved out since coming to Anaheim. Yeah. Zegras, Drysdale of note, that were top picks of the previous regime, and he's replaced them with guys like Seneca. McTavish was kind of in the same fold as before, but McTavish, Carlson, and now Lacombe, drafted previously, but given the reins here because they're big, they don't shy away from the physical element of the game.
And discipline comes into such a key part, a key component of playoff success. Killorn took a couple of penalties, I thought, that were, he didn't have to take them. The Darnell Nurse penalty on McTavish, unnecessary. And that led to the third goal, the power play goal by, Troy Terry, where he picked a beautiful, beautiful corner. And then again, as Duke said, there was a really good sort of a flyby screen by Kreider. It's funny, when you look at the replay, it's almost like it's past the point. Like Kreider's gone past the point of the screen. But I think it's almost simultaneously where the shot is released. And at that point, it's on its way, and it's a split second. Had Kreider did the flyby a split second earlier, I think Connor Ingram makes that save.
Well, yeah, because it's all about timing on plays like that. Because being stationary is one thing as a screen, right? And if you're a really big body, that's easier to do, right? Because the goaltender has to try and look around you. But if you're just standing still, it gives the goaltender time to pick a side and then, over this shoulder, under this arm, or whatever, to try and get a look at the puck and get a track on it before the shot's taken. These sliding screens, it eliminates that ability for a goalie. And you see Ingram react, but it's just too late to the shot over his right shoulder. So it's like I said earlier, it's a perfectly executed play from both him and Terry. And I just wanted to touch on the Killorn after the whistle slashing penalty. I thought like the Darnell Nurse penalty is so cut and dry, even like playoff hockey. I mean, you're allowed to do almost whatever you want in these post whistle scrums, but the cross check right to the chin, those are going to get called, right? And for a lot of the time for officials, it's a way of deterring more of that stuff and keeping it just to the grab a guy by the collar and jerk him around a little bit and some shoves here and there. I did think that the Killorn slash in one of those same post whistle scrums was kind of the even up counterpart to the Nurse penalty.
Yeah, the one on, I think, was it Leon in the slot? Like that was, I think, on the hands. It was that was a legit penalty.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
no
I agree
no
where
doubt.
you're talking from. Hey, here's one from Brent, and I looked at the replay a lot of times. Brent says, and I don't know if it's Nurse here. He goes, I think that flyby goal also hit Nurse.
I don't think so.
And
Not on any replays.
I thought it was
I
Murphy
saw.
on that side anyway. I can't remember.
Let me bring it up right here.
I never saw it, and honestly, Brent, I appreciate the text because I thought there was a possibility of a 2. But
Yeah, Murphy is the
Murphy's on that
defenseman.
side, yeah.
See if I can get an angle that might show up, but I didn't recall seeing that last night on the replays.
Looking at the way the puck fluttered, it didn't really change anything like that. So it was a good shot. And again, as Duke has mentioned, Kreider's got the perfect timing.
It is very close to, like, it goes right past the leg of
I don't know
Murphy.
why.
He's kinda
Yeah,
got his
I
hand
don't know.
down, but
Brent is saying that it hit Nurse. Well, Nurse was in the penalty box, right? Because he just took the cross-check penalty. So, yeah, that was Murphy. I don't think it's ticked Murphy at all. So, text 833-401-1440. It's busy. Text line's really smoking hot this morning,
and not just about daylight savings time.
No,
which I think we covered. I don't know if we covered it well, but we covered it pretty thoroughly.
IMAX says reverse hits are dangerous for the offensive player. Sure they are. Virtually impossible to prepare for it on Hyman's part. Glad he's okay. Looks like he got his organs adjusted. You know what was, I think Louis said he thought he might be winded.
Yeah. Yeah, Louis said that on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Because I think there was, I don't know if it was Jack or maybe Louis floated it just before. I think it was Jack said, like, I wonder if there's a potential for a spotter situation here because the nature when Hyman stayed down afterwards. And then the whistle ends up going and, the trainer comes out and you say, all right, well, maybe he got his bell rung a little bit, but because he's sitting there just on one knee for the vast majority of it, right? So it was, Louis chimed in after saying he thought maybe he'd been winded.
Beaumont Garrett says Draisaitl going down at the end of the season gave the secondary guys so much confidence. It'll end up being a blessing in disguise. It's a good point because the ice time increased for a lot of players. The expectations increased for players. Responsibility increased for a lot of players because the thing is when Leon went down, the Oilers weren't even close to having a playoff spot solidified. So a lot of other guys had to step it up down the stretch. And same thing when Dickinson went down. A lot of guys had to step up their game. But make no mistake, as I said right off the very beginning of the show, if you look at this series and how this team is playing, if you thought this would be easy, think again, man. It shows you how tough it is to win in the postseason. We're going to talk a little NFL at the top of the hour. Also been mentioning, too, the Duke had it in the update. The Toronto Raptors are down 2-0 now to Cleveland after losing 115 to 105. The two guys that have been going hard here for the Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, they combined for 58 points last night. So the two of them really on fire. The opposite can be said for Brandon Ingram, because he's been a non-factor. He was not a non-factor for sure in game number 2. If you combine the second half of game 1 with the first half of game 2, try to combine 0 for 7 with just 4 points. So the second half of game 1, first half of game 2, non-existent. And the Raptors need more from their leading scorer. He has to have, he's got to be the best player on the court for Toronto for them to get back in this series. If he continues to play the way he's playing, this thing's done in 4. 833-401-1440. Don't have a name on this one, but it came in about, do you think Jay Woodcroft will have an impact countering the Oilers? Duke just replied to it, and we had John Ehlers, and I talked to John last night in the press box. John Ehlers was on yesterday. He said, yeah, he thinks that it's something that the Ducks can use. It's been 2.5 years, a little bit more, more than 2.5 years since Woody was fired here. But you're always got something in the memory bank, don't you? You always got something in the memory bank. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to change gears after 2 hours of hockey talk, and we're going to discuss the NFL draft coming up on Thursday with Austin Mock from The Athletic. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show. But before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update, brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. That's awswelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers pick up a victory in Game 1 of their first-round matchup with the Anaheim Ducks last night from Rogers Place. 4-3 the final. Jason Dickinson, Kasperi Kapanen, each with a pair of goals, and Connor Ingram making 25 saves in the victory. Around the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Flyers blanked the Penguins 3-0 to open up a 2-0 series lead. Jordan Martin of Edmonton product scores the double OT winners. Carolina tops Ottawa 3-2 and opens up a 2-0 series lead as well. And the Stars double up on Minnesota 4-2, even that series at 1 game apiece. Over in the association, Toronto Raptors come up short against the Cavaliers, fall down 0-2 in their first-round series, 115-105. The final, Donovan Mitchell leading the way, 30 points for the Cavaliers. Atlanta evens their series with the Knicks, winning 107-106, comeback fashion there. And Minnesota, 30 points from Anthony Edwards, gets them past Denver, 119-114. That Western Conference first-round series also even at 1 game apiece. Off the court, Victor Wembanyama named as the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year in unanimous fashion last night. 22 years of age, the youngest winner of the award in its history. And just breaking here, coming to the top of the hour, Billy Donovan stepping down as head coach of the Chicago Bulls after 6 seasons. Across the majors yesterday, Blue Jays get a standout performance from Dylan Cease on the bump. Vlad Guerrero Jr. homered. They beat the Angels 5-2. Elsewhere, Seattle falling to the Athletics 6-4. Boston beating Detroit 8-6. And the Cubbies, they lose at home, or win at home, over the Phillies 5-1. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Austin Mock from The Athletic covering the NFL, and we'll hear today's edition of Cam and Eggs. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill, still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior cams. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program 901 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. After 2 hours of hockey talk, time to talk a little NFL and the draft slated for Thursday in Pittsburgh. And we welcome in Austin Mock back to the program from The Athletic, covers the NFL. Good morning, Austin. You're with Kevin Karius once again. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 once again. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk some draft as we're in full silly season with some draft rumors this week. Let's get the real picks going here.
Yeah, the silly season, because I guess the rumors just start floating around, and maybe more so now, Austin. Do you think because of, the social media world, it just, it's like the commercial, it just goes from you tell 2 friends, I tell 2 friends, and next thing you know, we got something going, which is in the cases of a lot of the rumors, they're not likely true.
Yeah, and you never know. It's impossible, and we'll never know. Like, was a team close to taking this guy when that was the rumor, the couple days leading up to the draft. And then I always go back to like last year, we didn't see the Jaguars and Browns trade. There was no rumors of that leading up, and right before the draft that hit. So it's really hard to kind of piece together. I try to think about like, hey, what's the overall theme of the draft season? And then if tunes start to change or rumors change, like was there a combine performance that allowed that? Was there a free agency signing, something to change that kind of whatever the prior was? Because I don't think the combine really, I guess, shocks anyone. I don't think pro days really do. But yeah, that's one of those things. I try to find some evidence of like, okay, why was this guy, going to be in the 20s, and why now all of a sudden is he, going to go top 10? That seems a little far fetched for me.
Do you think we're going to see a fair bit of movement leading up to the draft here, and even during round one here, Austin?
Yeah, so I tweeted this morning. I'm going back and forth on it because at one, the draft is very top heavy with non-premium position players. Like those are, when you look at the big boards, those are the best players in the draft. And then the premium position, offensive tackle, wide receiver, edge rushers, there's a little bit of, I want to say like imperfect prospects. So that on one hand, it makes me think teams are going to want to move back. Arizona and Cleveland are two that come to mind. And then, but I also wonder, like, are teams going to be jumping up for those prospects that maybe aren't, total, perfect premium position prospects, or are they going to jump up for non-premium position guys? So I lean towards there's probably going to be a little bit more chaos. I think, though, the chaos might be more towards the end. Teams jumping back into the first round, because I do think that's kind of an interesting, there's some high ceiling prospects at the end of the first round, early second round. So I'm interested to see how the draft, the first round kind of ends Thursday night.
Yeah, you were saying, Austin, sometimes a trade can change the outlook on things going in. And I would imagine Dexter Lawrence going to the Bengals falls into this. That gives the Giants 2 picks in the top 10 at 5 and 10. So what did you make of the trade, and then how the Giants basically go into this draft?
Yeah, so I think the Giants won the trade, just overall getting the 10th overall pick for a player, one that didn't seem like wanted to play for you is a pretty good return. But also, like, the deal was pretty favorable that Lawrence signed to stay in Cincinnati. So I think it was kind of like both teams got what they really wanted. Lawrence can be a difference maker, but the Giants have some holes now. They were not a very good team against the run with Dexter Lawrence, and he's a good run defender. And now they have nothing on the interior. They have pass rushers, but they do not have run defense. So that's why there's been a lot of, with those 2 top 10 picks, 5 and 10, there's been a lot of Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, but they could easily go wide receiver if they, Jordan Tyson's kind of seen as the highest, I think, ceiling prospect, but he has some injury concern. They could slot him beside Malik Neighbors there. So they're kind of, I think the draft starts at like 3 and 4 with Arizona and Tennessee, but the Giants at 5 can really shake things up as well, because there's a chance that Sonny Styles is there at 10 if they don't want to take him at 5. They could go a lot of different routes here.
Austin Mock from The Athletic, our guest on Sports 1440. Still a slam dunk for you that Fernando Mendoza goes to the Raiders at number 1?
Yeah, that would be probably the most shocking draft news that I don't know every draft ever, but that would be the most shocking news that I've ever heard. He's the QB1. There's a pretty significant gap to QB2. Most people would say that's Ty Simpson here. So they don't have a quarterback. They traded Geno Smith to the Jets. Like, it's just it's the obvious. They have probably the easiest, they've had the easiest decision for months now. So while everybody else is kind of sweating this imperfect draft and these misfit prospects, the Raiders have had it easy. I'd be pretty shocked if Mendoza's not the first one called on Thursday.
Maybe one of the more polarizing players, just because he's a running back and, fantasy is such a big thing, as Austin. But, man, Jeremiah Love, I've been looking at so many drafts where now even, teams like Arizona sniffing around him at 3. And, he could drop all the way down to 7, 8, 9, whatever. Where have you got Jeremiah Love slotted?
Man, I feel like Tennessee, it feels like the most common landing spot. I just can't see, like, Arizona, they still have James Conner. I know he's getting up there in age and he was banged up. They were horrible running the ball last year. And I know that people think like, hey, you can just plug in a running back and fix things. But that's just not the case. If you don't have an offensive line, if you don't get the offensive line figured out, or in the quarterback position for the most part, you're not getting there. I don't think Arizona's in a position. I don't really think Tennessee's in a position either. That's a whole other argument with where I would draft Jeremiah Love, but I think Tennessee's probably the most likely spot. I'd be not shocked if he went 3 to Arizona, but that would be pretty, I don't really see that coming. And that's been the recent smoke the last few days. And again, like I said, to start off the segment, nothing changed really with Arizona and with these prospects to make me think like, why wasn't he linked, or why wasn't Arizona linked to Jeremiah Love, a month ago, 2 months ago? Why is this all of a sudden coming now?
As you said, after Mendoza, as you think it could start at 3, 4. Do you see Arvel Reese going to the Jets at 2? Is that where you've got him pegged at?
Yeah, I think he just has he's this, I don't want to say safest because he's still raw as a pass rusher, and that's what you're drafting, the potential of his pass rushing. But like comparing him to David Bailey, the other top edge prospect, Bailey has some run game concerns, and like we did see an uptick in heavy personnel and run game last year. The Rams made the 13 personnel with 3 tight ends on the field pretty famous last year. So I think that's kind of the difference maker. He does have the ability to play linebacker. He can line up everywhere. He kind of, he didn't get a full season at edge like Abdul Carter did last year for the Giants coming into the draft, but I think he's just the safest prospect with a super high floor because I think he can probably end up being the best pass rusher. So I think he does land it too. I think the Jets are going to like his versatility.
Yeah, I mean, and then when you think about where the Giants, and we mentioned them picking 5 and 10, is it like, would they go safety and Caleb Downs at 5? Is that the right slot for him? And is it the right piece of the puzzle for the Giants moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, great player. He's been probably the best safety, maybe even the best defensive player since he stepped on the field in college. It's just safety's tough to justify a top 5 pick. And he also doesn't have the size. Everybody wants to make the comparison with John Harbaugh to Kyle Hamilton when he was in Baltimore. There's a big size difference there. So I think there's some slight concerns with how much impact he'll have in the box, like closer to the line of scrimmage. He was fantastic there in college, but I do think that's a concern. I think I would lean, like if I'm the Giants, I would be, if he's at 10, that would be kind of my range for him. I think you can probably do better with where pick number 5 is. But again, it's if they're not in love with these other prospects, like if they think Styles and Downs are the best players, like they could take 2 non-premium position players. It's really unknown at this point.
Yeah, Austin Mock with us on the Kevin Carey Show here on Sports 1440. For wide receivers, is Carnell Tate the number 1 wide out on the board? And if he is, how close behind is Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. I think Carnell Tate is probably, like, if you had to say who, like, out of the 32 teams, is he ranked as wide receiver 1? I think he's probably ranked wide receiver 1 for most of them, but it might be like 17 or not even that high because there might be some other. Mekhi Lemon might be number 1 for somebody. Jordan Tyson's right there. It's just if Jordan Tyson had a clean bill of health, I think he'd for sure be wide receiver 1. But that's going to turn some teams off, so that might pull his draft stock down a little bit. Again, we don't. That's the one part of this that's not really public is the medicals. Like we see the combine testing, we see pro day testing numbers. We don't really get too much insight into the medicals. So that's going to kind of depend on each team. But I do think it's real close. I think Carnell Tate, just because he's safer from an injury perspective, I think he has the edge. But it would not shock me if Jordan Tyson, because of what his ceiling is, and if a team thinks his injury concerns aren't much of a concern at all, I wouldn't be shocked to see him go above Tate. I think I don't want to say it's a coin flip, but I do think it's really close.
Yeah, they're close players for sure. Austin Mock with us on Sports 1440. When Mendoza gets all the headlines as the number 1 quarterback picked, so much talk about Ty Simpson and where he could drop to, where if someone wants to reach for him. How do you see things unfolding for the quarterback out of Alabama?
Yeah, if I had to say right now, I think he does go on Thursday night. Whether that's Arizona trading back into the late first, we saw with Jackson Dart last year that happened. I don't think the reason I don't think he falls out of the first is because back in November, this guy was the number 1 pick. He did have a last, whether it was injury, whatever it was, his play did fall off and he fell down draft boards. There's not a ton of experience there, but I think there was something there that the draft experts, teams, scouts, whatever you want to call it, saw. And I think that potential there that he showed through like the first 3 months of the college football season is going to pull some team in. So whether that's Pittsburgh at 21, the Jets, I don't know if the Jets would do it at 16, but they're a team that needs a quarterback. So Arizona's the team that's linked to him the hardest. But I do think eventually Thursday night, back half of the first round somewhere, someone's going to take a stab on him because, again, he was ranked number 1. I just can't see teams letting a player like that at the quarterback position of all positions fall to the second round.
Any chance maybe Pittsburgh moves down? I mean, they're 21 right now. Everyone knows about Rodgers and everyone knows what they have in the stable. Any chance that Pittsburgh goes hunting for this guy?
Yeah, I could see it. They have a lot of picks, so I mean, I could see them making moves. I could see them jumping up if they want. Maybe if they love what Jordan Tyson and he's still available at 14, 13, somewhere in that range. I could see it. I could also see them trading down if they think Ty Simpson's going to be available at 24. If the Browns need to move up, or even the Eagles move up. So I don't really know. They kind of they have like a solid foundation, but they still have needs. So the Steelers are kind of in this like weird quasi like, hey, we're solid, but we still need a lot of pieces to actually be contenders in the NFL. But yeah, they obviously the quarterback position, I feel like it's just going to be Rodgers, but I could see them. It would not shock me if they're one of the teams that are jockeying for position to draft Ty Simpson. That'll be like it's probably the most interesting storyline, even though it's the back half of the first round. It's just how these 3, 4, 5 teams. Where do they think they're going to go? That'd be a cool like post-draft thing. Like, hey, where did you think he was going to go before the draft started, to see how close teams actually were?
Yeah, when we were talking about Jeremiah Love and could go anywhere at Arizona at 3 to somewhere 8, 9, whatever it is. When you compare Love to the other running back coming out of Notre Dame and Jadarian Price here, Austin, what do you see between the two players? Is it crazy to say that Price's game is more more suitable to the NFL game than he was at college?
Yeah, it could be. It's always hard when you get these. I don't want to say it was a running back by committee, but they shared the backfield. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit in the NFL. We've seen it in college a bit. But I think they're both good players. I mean, those are the top 2 running backs, right? Like both from Notre Dame. So I think they're definitely 2 different players. Love has that home run ability that Price doesn't have as much. Maybe there's a little bit more of, I don't want to say durability, but the power running, if that's more valuable to some teams, because when you get to the NFL, those breakaway runs are not usually there. So I'm not going to say he's more suited for the NFL. Maybe his better number, like his numbers were still good at Notre Dame, but I do think it's just kind of one of those things where he was always the second running back to, a top 5 player in the NFL on NFL big boards. So it could be one of those things where like his pro numbers end up being a little bit better than his college numbers just because of opportunity.
Yeah. Would the Seahawks have their eyes on him at the end of round 1?
I could see it, but I don't think, I think they lost, the defense is what carried them. Their defense was incredible and they lost some pieces to free agency. Like their draft 4 years ago was awesome late round. So Boye Mafe gone, Reek Wolin. I think you could see like one of those tweener first round, second round edges or corners more likely, but I know Kenneth Walker went as well. And, Zach Charbonnet was injured at the end of last year, but I think they'd probably be wise to retool the defense and, get some more prospects in there and then maybe go for a running back later in the draft.
What's the coverage coming up for you guys on at the Athletic here, Austin, in the days, and then on Thursday, obviously with round number 1?
Yeah, so we'll be doing a whole bunch of anything draft related you want. I'll be putting out a what I would do if I was the GM of every team. That mock draft will be coming out on Thursday. Don't yell at me if it's not accurate. It's what I would do, not what the teams are going to do. And then during the draft will be our live blog, social media push is just constant analysis. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be analyzing every pick and going from there, seeing who's left for the weekend as the draft continues on.
Oh, good stuff. As always, Austin, thanks so much for your insight. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the next few days. It's always an exciting time for guys like yourself that cover the NFL, do such a great job. Thanks for coming on as always.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of the week.
You betcha. That's Austin Mock from The Athletic. Covers the NFL, college, the whole bit, and will be front row center for the NFL draft in Pittsburgh, which gets underway Thursday night with round number 1, and then things continue over the course of the weekend. It's a little different. I mean, Mendoza's not going to be there. There's some other higher profile guys that aren't coming to the draft, but it's a different time, is it not? It's a different time and age. You can, like with NIL and all that other stuff, you can make some cash if you wanted. Like you can have your draft party at home and you can put, I don't know, like 24 Pepsi cans on your table in front of you, and Pepsi can give you some cash or things like that. That's just product placement and where the NIL and where college is and where the draft is. And that's the way that the world's going when it comes to college players and where and what and how they want to portray themselves. And if they could make some dough off it, everyone's doing it, man. When we come back, I think we'll have an edition of Cam and Eggs. Is it in, Duke? Is it in? Oh, it is in. Cam Tate. He was busy last night. You couldn't even get, there's so many guys standing around him. It kind of hangs out where the scouts are. You couldn't even get close to him. Couldn't even get near him. That popular of a guy. Cam and Eggs. We'll also go in or out with the Duke at 9:40. We got Deandra Liu from the Hockey News at 10 bells to talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning and their series continuing tonight with the Montreal Canadiens. And then the con man, Connor Halley, will check in at 10:20. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a park view rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Karius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
They're pumped for the playoffs at Selly Sports Bar and Lounge, the place to catch every hit, every goal, every Selly. Not a bad seat in the house. Tons of big screens and a menu with something for everyone from small bites to big bites. Plus, game night food and drink features and Oilers playoff watch parties. Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino. Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auctions are this Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large section of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 9:23 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. Text 833-401-1440. Look at Nails trying to get under my skin here, Duke, your buddy Nails. NFL talk. Don't you guys realize Edmonton was in their first playoff game last night? And I know Nails is just being facetious when he sends that in. I could just see him in the barn right now, Duke, going, what could I do to get KK's goat? What could I do just to get him going? And I know you're just fibbing there, Nails. Anything Austin Mock said about the draft? I mean, even Corey texted, do you see Price going in the first round? And that's something that we asked Austin at the end about Jadarian Price, the running back out of Notre Dame. Some people have him pegged going to Seattle at the end of the round number 1. I don't know. Anything surprise you what Austin said? I just think that there's going to be some movement here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And whether it comes near the top of the draft or maybe more in the middle of that first round and kind of back into like teams like the Texans, Steelers, Rams kind of all seem like some contenders to maybe move down potentially. And then there are some clubs that maybe do want to package a few things together and get back into it, whether it be to grab the quarterback, Ty Simpson. Maybe it is Jadarian Price that really tickles some teams' fancy that is jonesing for one of the backs. And Connor and I have talked about this quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. We've been doing our mock drafts on Thursdays on Fantasy Frenzy, and we did have Price going to Seattle at number 32. I think in our first edition of it, because it does seem like a fit. They let Kenneth Walker go. Yeah, they have Charbonnet, but they didn't really do anything else so far in free agency to plug that hole. And Price seems like a guy that would be a viable option to them. But man, the top 5 after, say, Mendoza, maybe if we assume the 2 edge rushers go next in the forms of Bailey and Reese, which isn't a foregone conclusion because, like you, Kevin, I'm seeing a ton of traction that the Cardinals could be interested in Love. He's an unbelievable player. He's a top 5 talent, but I just you have to sometimes put perspective into it and say, why do we want a running back right now?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. We're so far away, and maybe they look at the Raiders and say, hey, the Raiders were bad first year of Genty and he wasn't very good, but in the second offseason, look at how much they've turned around this team. They add to the O-line. They make a bunch of changes. They probably think that they're going to be, as long as Mendoza lands, they should maybe be competing for a wild card spot in their eyes this coming season. I'm not sold on that notion, but it's all about the internal perspective as opposed to what we think watching.
Well, a lot depends on what the Jets do. They could go Bailey over Reese.
Oh, I've seen that in a lot of different places for sure. But then there's some saying that a guy like Caleb Downs is maybe actually the most talented player in the draft, but as you discussed with Austin, you don't take safeties that high, and especially one that is a little bit on the undersized side of things. And Sonny Styles, the linebacker, like these premium positions after Reese and Bailey on the edge spot, you have a guy like Reuben Baines who has question marks because of the arm length and maybe a little bit of this legal trouble or character issue, because it's legally it seems to be put to rest, but character stuff going back to this car accident where somebody ended up losing their life a year or two ago. There's a lot of question marks. And I don't know if this draft has as much intrigue because it's a consensus quarterback. And then after that, there's no, the QBs always draw the numbers, right? And draw the interest. There's one first round quarterback realistically, and it's Mendoza. Another guy might go in the first round, deserving or not. Really. And as compared to, say, 2 years ago when we saw 6 guys go in the first 12 picks for the QB position, we're obviously not going to have that.
And everyone is looking to next year for quarterbacks.
That's going to be if we fast forward 1 year today, is the buzz around the draft going to be exponentially higher? Yeah, I think it will be, because of the fact that, once again, we're talking about a half dozen potential quarterbacks going in the top half of the first round.
Of course, MTR is going to chime in. Seahawks regression coming.
Well, that might be hope more than anything else.
I don't get it, man. Brad texted in. He says, wow, the media as usual dumping on the Oilers. If the top 6 scores, we're in trouble because the bottom 6 needs to come through. Bottom 6 scores and we're in trouble. He's talking about Speck here. I didn't get anything like that from Speck.
No, I don't know if there's been much dumping on the Oilers this morning. I think there's been some credit given to players stepping up.
Sure.
And you can compliment guys like Dickinson and Kapanen and at the same time say, yeah, the best players weren't the best players last night in the forms of McDavid, Hyman, Savoy, and Bouchard. Yeah. And if anything, Kev, I think we've kind of been looking at this Oilers, and we're going to touch on it in or out here on the first question about you got to still be feeling pretty comfortable, even if that first game was far from a Picasso, because you won the game without your best players really contributing anything.
I mean, Connor did, he tried to press the play, push the play. Evan Bouchard played poorly last night.
Yeah.
So you talk about those two guys who are your top 2 point getters, basically. I mean, Leon's in there too after 5 weeks off. And Leon, you got to give him credit, man, for gutting things out and, trying to get involved. There's times when if you watch Leon last night in traffic where he's hesitant might be the wrong word, but he's still feeling things out here, man. As I said, you can go through as many practices as you want. You can go through certain drills. There are drills in practice where things heat up. The Oilers aren't doing these drills anymore, man. They're not. And those are battle drills. Those are, you put the nets together and you're working in small little quadrants of the ice, and you've got puck on puck or man on man with one puck, and they're going back and forth and trying to, strip the puck from a guy, and you're working this guy and you're going back and forth. Those drills are long gone now. You're not even coming close to anything like that at this point of the season. So with Leon and ramping up his workload in the last, call it 10 days, I mean, for him to play the way he did last night, yeah, he tried to force in a couple passes. He's done that when he's totally healthy too, trying to make plays, and that's what's going to happen. I think it's nothing but good signs again. And when you think about it, when we were looking at those lines, when we looked at the lines and everyone went, okay, if Savoy plays the way he's playing, and that line with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman, that's a perfect line. That leaves the opportunity for Nugent Hopkins to drop down, and with Dickinson and Roslovic. And what happened? And they were very good last night. And so the only question mark was Kasperi Kapanen. Leon loves playing with Kapanen and Podkolzin. He doesn't care about not playing with a number 1 draft pick or a 50-goal guy or the Oilers' best rookie this year. That's how Leon is. And if you think about it, what if you were to ask, say, Leon Draisaitl a year and some ago, Leon, your left winger and right winger in the Stanley Cup playoffs are going to be Vasily Podkolzin and Kasperi Kapanen. No one would have thought that. Nobody. But here it is, and the line was really good last night. Better check in with Cam and Eggs here, Duke, I guess, or what? You want to get her done right now? Yeah. All right. Saw Cam Tate in the press box again last night, but here's another edition of Cam and Eggs.
Chapter 2, crumpled up popcorn boxes, 4 sets of earplugs, seen, noted, and anything else we might find from our vintage point of round 1, game 1. Ducks, Oilers, I noticed several men in suits and orange, kind of bright orange ties. Got me thinking. Are they a flight crew from a new discount Orange You Glad We Didn't Crash airline? Are they members of the Global Carrot Council? Are they part of the Zach Hyman Goal Review legal team? Or are they part of the Ducks management team? From the let's hope the Oilers get off to a good start department, the Oilers had half a dozen, like eggs, shots before the Ducks registered 1 8 minutes into the game. After his big retirement send-off jamboree extravaganza thingy-wingy, Sportsnet's and good guy Scott Oak worked the game Monday night as host in Edmonton. What, pension check bounce? First Oiler goal? Jason Dickinson? He got around the Ducks' defense quicker than a seagull on a dropped French fry at a boardwalk fry stand. Now, I think we can all agree the Oilers had a terrible, I mean terrible, second period. You kidding me? Allowing the Ducks to score 3 unanswered goals to have a 1-goal lead with 8 minutes left. The importance of not taking your foot off the gas is the topic for our Sports 1440 resident poet, Sir Billy Shakes. And how about this? Today's verse was my dad's favorite. Sir Billy, please.
There is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. Julius Caesar. Cam and Eggs. Sports 1440.
Is that Bill Shakespeare? Thanks, Tater. We'll see you down at the rink, I guess, tomorrow for game number 2. Cam Tate, another edition of Cam and Eggs. Text 833-401-1440. Mentioned about the Raptors, and the Blue Jays had a pretty solid game yesterday. To see Dylan Cease, man, that guy's throwing so well right now. 12 strikeouts in the Blue Jays win over the LA Angels. You've got a couple texts from Tiger taking pictures from they talked about the broadcast, I guess, last night. I didn't see the game, obviously, because it was the same time as the Oilers, but we went to a game in LA in 2017 when the Oilers were playing the Ducks. All the media, well, we went to 2 games, actually, because it was perfect timing when the Oilers were down there. So we went to games at the beginning of the series, and then later in the series was really cool. I mean, it's just a beautiful ballpark, in center field. And they got the rocks out there and everything. The other thing, too, is Mike Trout, when we were there, was hamming it up with everybody in the right field bleachers. Man, he was so cool. I mean, he was throwing the ball into the stands after the warm-up in between innings, but just talking, yakking, man, and he's off to a wonderful start. Just an absolutely wonderful start. So tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays, it's going to be Patrick Corbin against Jack Hokenholich for the LA Angels. Tomorrow, it'll be Eric Lauer and Jose Soriano. Jose Soriano is throwing absolute smoke at the yolk, man. He is the best pitcher in baseball right now. Off to just a fabulous start for the LA Angels. But Vladimir Guerrero hit the home run yesterday. I mean, he's hitting the ball. He's just the power, and maybe it's coming right now. And maybe this series is what he needed to get on the road a little bit. But I mean, his average is right there, but he just has not been able to put up, I guess if you want to call it like the power numbers, because he's only got the 2 home runs. He's got 12 ribbies, but he's batting like 350 here. So he's the guy that they need to get going, get the power going, because when Springer and Kirk come back, that's going to help the offense, obviously. So we'll see how the Jays do tonight. And again, that's a later start, 7:38. First pitch, our time, which means the same thing. You know what, Duke? Like, as you said, when the Oilers play in California next year, it'll be a 9:30 start time.
We crunch the numbers.
Yes.
And it tells us that should Edmonton stay on daylight savings time.
Just daylight saving, Duke.
Daylight savings. I'm changing it.
No,
I'm pulling a government. I'm just doing what I want. I don't care. Daylight. Tiger had a great text in too, because that is a bit from the TV show Veep, which is an all. I can't remember. We've talked about this. Have you seen that with Julie Louis-Dreyfus? When she's the vice president.
Veep, I've
Veep.
seen it, but is there a certain episode?
There's a bit about, because the one like resident egghead keeps saying savings, and then the guy's like, no, saving. And he just can't comprehend it. But anyway, if it is 7:35 in Edmonton, 7:35 in Anaheim,
it'll be 9:35
in Edmonton, because they still fall back in the fall.
Yeah.
We will not be.
So the games out there will be and I was right at the very beginning.
Yes, we had a long way around. Yes. And we were trying to do it on the fly, but over the course this morning, and I hate to try and reopen this can, but that seemed to be where we landed.
The question was, the statement to you was, Duke, are you going to enjoy watching your Duck games at 9:30?
Yes.
That was the question.
That was what started all of this.
Yes.
And it took us down a winding road.
It did.
Covered a lot of topics. Government, sports, world trade, spec skiing.
Yeah. Schmitty.
Kevin's best bud.
See, now, like, even people are texting in, they're still confused. But it is true, because, again, in Vancouver, when they play the Canucks, it'll be 8:30, Duke, if it's a 7:30 Vancouver start time.
Yeah, Vancouver, it won't be. They'll just be an hour behind us like normal. Yeah. But as far as I'm aware, California doesn't have any plans, of eliminating daylight saving time. Or, going to daylight saving time. Strictly, so we got there.
When we come back, we're going to go in or out with the Duke of Delburne on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell. And we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prized jersey deserves better than the closet. Think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
A relaxing day at the lake without a Toyota Tundra can be noisy. But when you get a Tundra at your local Toyota dealer, you can take advantage of up to 11,000 pounds of towing capacity to find a quieter spot. That's better. Lease a 2026 Tundra 4x4 Double Cab SR5 from $149 weekly for 60 months at 5.29% APR with $8,799 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Prairie Toyota dealer today.
The Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, Baba. Welcome back to the big program. 9:41 in Edmonton. You know, we were talking about golf courses opening yesterday, and some of them are opening today, but the ranch opens today. It should be a great day of golf. I actually got invited to go play at 2:30, Duke.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask.
Shooter
If he's
McGavin.
going to get going on opening day.
By Shooter McGavin asked me because he had a time, but I just don't think I could. And then he filled it up quick. He texted at like 9 in the morning.
He texted you, and then 10 minutes. He was like me trying to get some last minute guests for the show, and I'm scrambling. Yeah. I sent a text, then 5 minutes later, text the Savers back. Don't worry about it. I ended up getting it filled.
Yeah, he texted at 9 in the morning yesterday, and then I never got back to him until after work. He goes, sorry, pal, she's filled. And, so Ranch is open, Mill Woods is open, Raven Crest, Red Tail, River Ridge, part of the Country Club Tour, all open today and yesterday. But, man, oh, man, you look at the forecast, and it stinks, Duke. It absolutely is rotten.
It's not good, Kev.
tomorrow's, it's probably going to rain tomorrow.
Isn't it the chance of rain today?
I think maybe tonight, Duke.
Okay.
But then periods of snow possibly for Friday and Saturday, maybe even Thursday. Oh, man. So a lot of these courses are going to open, and then I don't know how many. I mean, the snow is going to melt when it hits the ground here because I don't think it's going to come down too hard. But, man, it just sucks.
That still doesn't make for a very pleasant afternoon.
It's just abysmal. You know what? The other thing before we get to in or out, Duke, that we got to have an intervention with SKS here, man, with Sean Smith. I mean, now he wants to have a trial luncheon. I think
he said he's going today.
By himself.
Yeah, he texted our group chat and said, "Hey, boys, I'm going to go to the place today or tomorrow just to get it, to feel it out or something like that." So he asked if anybody wanted to go with them.
Yeah. So he has to get a big feed in because he wants to have two where he's just basically a glutton.
Well, maybe this is all part of his plan of, getting the stomach expanded or whatever those professional eaters do.
Don't need no expanding,
in lead up to one of their events.
Yeah.
Like, what is the hot dog guy? Joey Chestnut.
Joey, yeah.
Well, maybe Sean looked up his exercises.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, time now for Are You In or Out? Brought to you by Pro Solutions. If you need fast air conditioning service, Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or are you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Letterbuck.
The Edmonton Oilers victorious last night 4-3 over the Ducks in game number 1. Kapanen and Dickinson each scoring twice in the victory, despite an imperfect opening game to this season's playoffs. Oilers fans, and I guess to an extent the team as well, confidence level should be holding steadfast heading into tomorrow night's game number 2.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be 100% in because just start from the goaltender out. I mean, Connor Ingram made the big saves that he had to make.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't fault them for any of the goals. He made the saves at the opportune times. Jake Wallman played more like Jake Wallman of last year. On the other side of it, Evan Bouchard had a bad game. So and we know what he can do. So there's anything and everything just upwards for Evan Bouchard. Connor McDavid didn't get a point. First time they won without McDavid scoring a point. Leon's first game in 5 weeks was very good. He was good. You get goals from Kapanen and Dickinson, and as long as guys stay healthy. I mean, the only down point was, there was a possibility we might see 2 centermen for game number 2 when Dickinson went down. You thought maybe it was going to be Lazar and Szymanski coming in. So if the Oilers can stay healthy here, we'll see what the situation will be with Henrique. But Szymanski is more than serviceable to come in and center that fourth line. So
and I'm not just trying to be all happy and cheery, but we know that in this city, people sometimes have a tendency to overreact, right? And especially considering that second period the Oilers played, and I thought the third was a pretty balanced effort. We kind of touched on this earlier. It did feel like the Oilers were going to tie the game because Anaheim did fall into a little bit of their whole goal was to clear the zone and not really much else, formulating an attack. Then they very nearly tie it themselves in the final seconds of it. Mikael Granlund, one that'll probably keep them up at night a little bit, right in top of the crease. So I think you give both teams credit for both respective comebacks. Ducks eliminating the 2-goal deficit. Edmonton not letting them get too disheartened by trailing in the game. So it all just goes back to me that Anaheim can try to hold in what damage McDavid can do. I don't think you're going to hold him pointless again. And even if you can hold him to 1 or 2 points, if the rest of the team can continue to churn in the way that it has last night and previously going into the playoffs, you're probably in a pretty good spot.
Well, and this is a team that's faced adversity in the last 2.
Right. Yeah. They're very battle tested.
Yeah. So
because they had the numbers across the broadcast last night. I think it was 11 Anaheim players making their playoff debut and just 2 for the Oilers, just 2 in Matt Savoy and Colton Dach. So very battle-tested team, especially the core that, as we all know very well, has been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. On the Ducks side of things, maybe some surprises to those that thought this might be a little bit more of a cakewalk, even if it was just one game so far. But the element of Anaheim's game that most surprised us was the stick work on the defensive side of the puck.
The stick work, eh? Yeah. I mean, well, especially on Connor McDavid.
100%.
I mean, and they're all like, I think at times Connor got frustrated. There could have been, because again, when you get to the hands, it gets called. Keep it down low. And that's what they were doing. They were focusing on the puck. And they're trying to get just tiny little taps here and there. And if he bobbles it, excuse me, if he bobbles the puck a little bit, that's what you're looking for. Because if he has it on a string, he's almost unstoppable.
And if I'm looking around the rest, I don't know. Maybe to me personally, there isn't as much surprise because I do watch this team play a lot over the course of the season. But for you, Kevin, was there anything else that maybe surprised you? You've touched on this with Frank, with Speck, and Walker, this version of defense that we did not see them play through 82 games in the regular season.
A little more systematic.
Right.
Okay, a little more structure to what they've done from what I watched in the regular season. And again, I mean, I'm not watching every game like you. I'm watching, every Oiler game, and I probably watched 5 or 6 other ones, from start to finish.
Right.
But not like you were, where you're watching whatever, 60, 70 games. So that to me, because I never saw like that, again, when the Oilers are trying to bust out that one forward, so you're F1 technically around the blue line and pushing left or right. And then basically you're almost like you're reverse funneling the play to where you want it to go. And then at that point, if you have the support as a defensive team, that's where you have success as far as turning the puck over and then flipping it around and reversing flow and reversing play.
And lastly here, it was you brought it up specifically yesterday going into this game about the fourth line matchup. And I thought the Oilers' fourth line, even, it had to be kind of configured together as the game progressed because of Henrik's injury. We know about how physical Dach was. I thought Frederick in the first few shifts was really noticeable. After that, to a much lesser extent.
Yes.
As the game went on, I thought Anaheim's fourth line maintained an element of presence in the game and were like noticeable in a positive light. They went head to head with McDavid's line for a good chunk of the game. They had time in the offensive zone. They had a goal that got wiped off. I was very pleasantly surprised by Anaheim's fourth line brought to the table. Now, if they're able to duplicate that over next game and throw the series, maybe the Ducks do have a fighting chance.
They started the game, and I thought that Knobber probably should have went with McDavid right off the hop and say, these guys are starting their fourth line, hammer.
Right.
And
we saw that more with the last change that the home team possesses. Like it a lot of the time, I think, and this is maybe a little bit more of a dated mindset, and we don't see coaches do it as much. Like one team rolls out their fourth line, like, well, that means we have to put out our fourth line, and it's just like it's almost institutionalized. Whereas no, if they're putting out their fourth line, why would I want to put out my best players, right? Like to punish them or try to punish them for that choice to roll their depth guys. But they held their own, obviously, in the fact that McDavid in the first line off the score sheet. So around the rest of the NHL playoffs, 4 games will go tonight. Of course, all series already 1 game in. 2 of tonight's 4 series will be evened at 1 when it's all said and through. Well, of course, the other 2 teams will hold a 2-0
that's
advantage.
Because you're saying Tampa's winning. So you're calling that one? Okay. So you're saying one of these other teams is going to win one of the games. So you're saying Boston's going to win, Utah's going to win, or the Kings are going to win. I'll be honest. I was surprised that Frank said that the Kings are this is going to be nothing. So
I was impressed with the Kings Sunday afternoon, but to a level where my expectations were pretty low.
Well, that's what they are, though. I mean, they're out of every series, they're the biggest dog, right?
For sure.
So it's not even close. So,
but I thought the score was closer than the game.
Yeah, fair. But that's how they play. They're going to.
Oh yeah, they just want to keep themselves in it, right? Keep themselves in it and give yourself a chance to pounce at the end.
So you're thinking that either Utah or Boston is going to win. I wonder which way you're leaning. I'll go in just because I want to see some close series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see a bunch of 2-0ers here. So, I mean, Boston was in position to win that game. Utah was in position leading to win that game. So I'm going to go in. I'll say 2 out of the 4 will be 1-1.
Yeah, and my pick would be the Mammoth.
It is.
I listen. I took them as kind of one of the dogs to pull off the upset here in the first round. I thought they were very if we're talking about competitive nature of their respective games. Yes, the Bruins held serve during most of their course against the Sabres, but I definitely thought Buffalo was still very much they weren't getting walked over despite trailing 2-0. Whereas in the Vegas Utah game on Sunday night, man, I was really impressed. That was an entertaining hockey game. The physical nature of it. All that rolled in, and then
I'm looking forward to that one tonight. Too.
And if I were to be placing a bet, I would expect the Kings to maybe win by 3 or 4 tonight, or excuse the Avalanche. The Avalanche just need to beat the Kings by 3 or 4 tonight. But
we'll see what Boston does.
Playoff
too.
hockey. I think the Bruins and
there.
Sabres will be a tight game again. Tight game, but I think the Sabres maybe come out and get things rolling a little bit early. Swayman was great.
Looking for a 5-point night from Rasmus Dahlin. Duke.
You need it, Kev, in our the Babbers pool.
I'm done already because
I checked it. I'm T10.
Pittsburgh Pigs.
Yeah. My investment in all the Ducks is semi-early dividends through one game. Over in the association, some series get evened at 1 last night. Knicks fall to the Hawks. Great comeback by Atlanta in the second half there. And the Timberwolves, this was expected to be a competitive series. They even things up against the Nuggets, but the Raptors, they go down 2-0 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. 110, 105 the final. They trailed the whole game. 5-point difference in the end makes it seem close. Not sure it ever really was. And I wasn't watching it, but just checking in on over the course of the contest. They're down 2-0 in the series. There's lots to be positive about, but the biggest concern comes in the form of who's supposed to be their best player, Brandon Ingram.
Well,
and I'm not even just saying about the actual on-floor results here.
Man, he looks like he just doesn't want to be there. We're just watching the highlights again, and you watch his body language, and when things are going crappy for you, that's how it is. You don't feel like you're part of the game, but just everything about him, he doesn't look like wants to get involved. I threw the stats at you as well earlier. We'll bring maybe Fenny in here too as well for a second. Combined second half of game 1 with the first half of game 2. 0 for 7 with 4 points. I mean, this is your number one guy. In the last 6 quarters of the series, he's 3 for 16 for 11 points.
And after game 1, criticizes the coaching or the game plan, saying, I need to get more shots. And his teammates kind of backed him up, saying, we need to get him the ball more. He's our scorer. But then you come out and you shoot 3 for 15 from the field.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable. Everybody has down games, but this is a couple consecutive. You need your best players to step up. And right now it's kind of being I thought RJ Barrett was really good from what I saw. Obviously Barnes gets the 26 points, but even some of the younger guys like Mamu and Colin Murray Boyles really stood. Even Jacoby Walter, 14 points off the bench. So there are some reasons to be optimistic, but there's no way Raptors come back in the series or even make a series without Brandon Ingram stepping up in a very, very big way.
Fanny, quick comment there.
Yeah, I agree because I was prepared to say out, and I was going to say the turnovers because they're the turnovers that the Cavs are forcing against the Raptors are unbelievable. 17 in game 1, 22 in game 2, and then I went and checked on points off turnovers, fast break points, everything. The Raptors are evening that out, which means that the problem literally is Brandon Ingram. So he needs to step up. 3 for 15 is simply not good enough when you're supposed to be the leading scorer on this team. You're supposed to be the leader. And instead you have RJ Barrett, who should not be the leading scorer in this game due to interior defense, putting up 22 points and being the best offensive player on this team. So Brandon Ingram needs to do better.
Finally, wrapping it up today. This is a fun one, Kevin. Today is International Loch Ness Monster Day.
Ooh.
Great Lake Ness of the Scotland Highlands. The mythological creature that would be the most fun to go searching for. Hunting for? I don't know. That seems like a little bit of an aggressive term, but searching for. I'm going to go with the Mothman of the United States Appalachian Mountain regions.
No way, man, Duke. I'm so out on this one.
What?
When I grew up, I remember I was 5 years old and I was watching a documentary and someone had the Zapruder film of that Bigfoot in BC. It scared the crap out of me. I saw that.
You thought he'd venture over into the Saskatchewan and come snatch you up when you're playing on the yard or what?
And then, I watched so many documentaries about it when I was a kid because there was no TV and they had, I don't know what it was, but then they got all these plaster things going on where the footprints were.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man. Is this really real? No, so I'm Bigfoot, or I guess if you wanted to do the Yeti over in
the Himalayas, right? So where do you stand, Kevin, on the belief that though the Bigfoot and the Yeti actually are, or at least at some point were real, right? Just in the form of a now extinct ape, the Gigantopithecus.
No.
And so that's where maybe some of these footprints come from, like fossilized footprints and things.
I think people are
one's a North American version of it, one's a Asian Himalayan version of the same animal.
Look at how much, like for tourism and money they made in Kelowna with Ogopogo.
Oh, well, yeah, it's their version of the Loch Ness, right?
Ogopogo.
So have you ever even heard of my pick,
Probably
the
not,
Mothman?
No.
There was this similar reality series, I guess it would be. It was on Discovery, I think. And when I was living with Chucky Slick in Fort Sask, hangover Sundays or whatever, sitting there in the basement, him, me, the big Saboya. This show, I think it was called Mountain Monsters.
Yeah.
Just the most preposterous thing you'd ever seen. And they're hunting for all these like the woman of the woods and the chupacabra and the Bigfoot and just the most backwoods people you've ever seen somehow get a reality TV series. Great laughs. The Mothman's terrifying. If anybody's not familiar, just go look it up. Save me explaining it. But the name kind of explains it in the simplest sense. Yeah, that show made me in on the Mothman and their search for him.
I only knew Al the Moth Miller.
That's it. Miller.
That was the guy back in town because apparently, he would just get drunk and eat moths. Like he'd say, "Oh, there's a moth, I'll eat it," kind of thing.
And one of the episodes of the show, they were like, and they always said they actually caught things.
Yeah.
They never actually showed on the TV, obviously, because they didn't catch anything. They believe that the Bigfoot kept the chupacabra as a pet. It was his dog.
Oh man!
And he'd use it to hunt people in the
Well, maybe
Appalachian
address
Mountains.
this coming up a little bit later with the con man. We're running a little hot here. Maybe he's got maybe one of these fictitious whatever, not animals, whatever you want to call it, creatures, I guess. Yeah. Good stuff, Duke. In or out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. They got flexible financing on all of the installs. Check them out at prosolutionsinc.ca. Top of the hour, we're going to switch gears and get back to a little hockey and talk to Deandra Liu from the Hockey News in Tampa Bay. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
4-game slate in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Montreal takes the 1-0 series lead back into Tampa against the Lightning. The Bruins take on the Sabres. Buffalo with a 1-0 series lead there. Mammoth in Vegas against the Golden Knights. VGK up 1-0 in that series. And the nightcap, LA Kings in Denver taking on the Avalanche from Mile High. Avs lead that series 1-0. Pair of games in the PWHL tonight. New York is in Toronto and Vancouver hosting Montreal. BCHL playoffs resuming action. Sherwood Park Crusaders at home taking on the Brooks Bandits. 7 o'clock puck drop from the Sherwood Park Arena. That best of 7 tied at 1 game apiece. NBA playoffs back at it tonight on the hardwood. Philly in Boston against the Celtics. San Antonio hosting Portland, and Houston taking on the Lakers. Tip-off for that one, 8:30 from SoCal. And finally, out of Chicago this morning, Billy Donovan deciding to exit as head coach of the Chicago Bulls after spending 6 seasons with the club. In the majors today, Blue Jays continue their series in Anaheim against the Angels. First pitch just after 7:38. Patrick Corbin on the bump for the Bluebirds. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Deandra Liu from the Hockey News covering the Tampa Bay Lightning and Fantasy Frenzy's Connor Halley. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2.
What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep, and yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
It's here. The Ford, it's a big... Not yet. The Ford, it's a big deal... Oh, guys, just wait. The Ford, it's a big deal event is on. Really? Now! Hurry in to lease a 2026 F-150 STX with black appearance package from $237 bi-weekly at 0% APR for 36 months with $54.90 down. That's like $119 a week. The Ford, it's a big deal event. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATV Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATV Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour Americas commemorative gift. Get yours at atvclassic.com.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:04 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where you can land a 2026 Jeep Compass 4x4 for under $37,000. Wow. It's got the 8.4-inch touch screen, active lane management, the Apple CarPlay, remote keyless illuminated entry, plus the rear backup camera, the alarm, and a whole lot more. We got 27 of them in stock at stalbertdodge.com as we welcome back Deandra Lou from the Hockey News. Good morning, Deandra. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on again. It's been a little.
Yeah, it's been a while, actually, but I mean, we're all excited about the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm sure you are as well. Before we get back to game one and game two, can you give us an update on Victor Hedman, Deandra?
Yes. Victor Hedman. I mean, there's not, I saw, obviously the news that just came out that they don't expect him. He's doubtful for the series. I felt like John Cooper kind of clarified that on Saturday. It just, it takes a little bit to get back into game shape. And I know Hedman has been on the ice and kind of working his way back, but obviously, especially just jumping into a playoff game, one like this that is very closely matched. And I think we'll get a little more physical as it goes on. But for him, there's no real, I wouldn't say real status update. He's working his way back. He's back on the ice. He's around the team, and he's traveling for this series to Montreal. So really good to have him back around the guys because he wants some time for himself. And I think having him back, just being around the team is so helpful. It gives them a boost.
Mm-hmm. What about Charles-Edouard Destrue?
Yeah, he is not in tonight. He's out of the lineup, which is it's a Montreal kid. So I know he was really looking forward to playing in this series. And, but he's out tonight. I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Obviously, you know how it is when it gets closer to the playoffs. We only get so much, but hard to say when he'll be back. Maybe in the next game in Montreal, but out tonight. And Declan Carlisle will be drawing in for him. And, it's been an interesting season, I will say, with the Lightning defensemen. They have a lot of depth there actually this year. And so guys are used to kind of coming in and out of the lineup. They've had a ton of injuries. Yeah. So Carlisle has been playing a lot this season.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, nobody knows it better than you how many injuries they had and how much of a patchwork D it was for so long. And also, you're right, Deandra, too, in the sense that you're not going to find out the Cadbury secret here at this time of the year regarding injuries and players in and out of the lineup for sure. So
you can try your best, but you're only getting so far.
Not happening, yeah. When you look back at game number one, what did you see? And then how much did discipline come into play for the result in the game, I guess.
I actually talked about this a lot before game one, is that the Lightning are the most penalized team in the league. And I think they changed. They changed the way that they played after the playoffs last year. They did not want to play the same. They wanted to be more physical, play with more emotion, and that's kind of their identity. But there is, the discipline is important, as we can see. Like, these are two very evenly matched games. I actually felt like this game kind of could have gone either way, but the penalty at the end, the very end, and then goes into overtime, and Montreal, the Habs start overtime on a power play. Like, the Lightning were not setting themselves up for success. So those penalties, those details made the difference. But I think we're going to see a little bit of a different game. I know Scott Sabrin is expected to play tonight. I feel like as this series goes on, it'll get a little more chippy. We saw in the regular season when they played each other. So it is kind of what's going on between the ears, and playing more disciplined hockey, because at the end of the day, these are two 106-point teams. Like, those details are going to make all the difference in the series.
Yeah. Deandra Lou with us from the Hockey News in Tampa Bay on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. What adjustments do you think we might see from Tampa's PK unit? Actually, it was just a power play extravaganza with the 5 goals in game number 1, but 3 of them Montreal scored, all by Juraj Slafkovsky. Do you see some adjustments by the PK units by Tampa Bay tonight?
They've had a top PK the entire year. Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli, like, that's their bread and butter. And that's kind of where they shine. And I know that they weren't happy with the way they played, but eliminating some of those penalties would help, with that. But in general, like, I expect them and those two guys, when they are on it. I mean, Hagel had 2 goals the other night, but like, the two of them together on the PK, they can turn an entire game around. So I know they'll be dialed in for sure. And that's a big detail. I mean, we'll see, with both teams had a lot of penalties. We'll see if there's opportunities for the PK to do what they need to do. We'll see what this game is like. I don't expect it to be the exact same as we saw on Sunday, but the PK will be dialed in when they're out there for sure.
So as far as the physicality goes in game 1, Deandra, I'm not saying it wasn't a physical game, but I thought that Tampa Bay would bring more. I thought, like last year, and I had Frank Saravalli on earlier this morning. He disagreed with me. I thought last year when Washington played Montreal, they ran at the Habs a lot more. And I thought when you saw what Tampa was doing this year with Florida and Buffalo, for that matter, I thought we were going to see a little more of that rougher edge, that rougher style of play. Your opinion on that?
I agree with you. I thought it was coming in game 1, just the way that things ended at the end of the regular season when they played each other. And, you watch, like, Anderson went after Kucherov, like, right away, right off the bat, to try and get in his head and, get to the team and set the tone. And I thought we would see that. But I think for game 1, like, neither team wanted to ruin it. There were players on both teams that are like, we are not going to ruin it for our team in the first game. So I think everyone was trying to play kind of clean, tight hockey. And I do think, it might be a little different, especially we saw things getting a little rough towards the end of the game, and I'm sure that will carry over tonight. But I'm with you. That's what I thought we would see. I think also once they get to Montreal, we're going to see a little bit of a different style of game.
And as you know, it's such a fine line that you have to play, because again, you want to stay out of the box, but you still want to be engaged and invested in that. So they have the personnel. I mean, they have the personnel to walk that line, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Lightning, first of all, the Lightning have the ability, the talent to win this series, like they do, but both teams are it is a very evenly matched series. I think the margin of error is so small, and that's probably why we didn't see that physicality. Is like, you can toe the line, but you never know which way it's going to go. And you never know what it'll take to send it over the edge. Like, this game could get very ugly very quick. And I think also, given what the Lightning dealt with against the Panthers last season, they're a little hesitant to kind of do that so early on, but I'm sure it'll get that way very soon. You and I would probably have another conversation if we talked maybe tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I agree with you. Deandra Lou from the Hockey News, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here in Sports 1440. How do you think the third line played for Tampa in game number 1? And what would your expectations to see from them, moving forward here in game 2 and then the rest of this series?
I think that line, that Yanni Gourde line, we call it the Yanni Gourde line. There's 3 players on that line, but the Yanni Gourde line, he centers it. And that line has been the difference maker. I keep thinking about when they played Colorado and there was so much hype around that game, the Lightning in Colorado. And they were just like incredible. And they have been all season. Now they don't have Pontus Holmberg, and he's a huge piece of that. It was really unfortunate when he got injured. But Nick Paul is one of those guys, like you guys know, he's a big dude. And also you can plug him in anywhere in the lineup. And I thought he's fit in really well there. And I mean, I'd expect the same. They'll be on it. Yanni Gourde in general, he's had a great season, and he had a good game 1 as well.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of Corey Perry the other night?
I say let Corey Perry be a little more Corey Perry tonight. That's my own. I kept saying it on game 1. I was like, let him get in there, because that's why he's here. He's back in Tampa. He's able to annoy opponents and get under their skin. And I was actually watching an interview with some former Habs players a little bit ago about what it's like to play against Corey Perry and what he does to you mentally. So I say let Corey Perry be Corey Perry, but I think the Lightning have gotten the full Corey Perry experience since he came back. He's scoring, he's getting into fights, he's leading in the locker room, he's really vocal, so it's good to have him here.
Yeah, we've seen him here obviously, and he drags other guys in. He might not do it like he did years ago, but this is a guy that can still contribute. How has he been since his arrival from the trade deadline, Deandra?
He's been great. I think they needed him just from a leadership standpoint and his experience. There's a lot of younger players on this team that have come up and, maybe unexpectedly that have been on this team this season, come up from Syracuse, Destu, he was playing over in Sweden and Finland before he came there. And having that experience has been great. And he's been really vocal, and we can see that he still scores, and he's a playoff guy. So he's kind of, I feel like, added to that identity that they had. They wanted to play more physical going into the playoffs, and they wanted to, just be like a tougher team in general. So he definitely, like you said, he pulls guys into it. He gets everybody going. They play with emotion. So we'll see if they let him do his Corey thing tonight.
Deandra Lou with us here on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. So it's been known for quite a while here, Deandra, that the Florida Panthers weren't going to be in this bracket moving forward into the playoffs. Has that been talked about, the fact that, yes, because Florida's been running the show here in the division, winning it and getting, in the playoffs, not winning the division per se, being third last year. But has that been talked about, that we don't have to worry about these guys? It's a little different path this year?
I don't know if it's so much been talked about. I feel like it's been pretty clear for a while, like they were having a rough season. It was pretty clear that they probably weren't going to make it in. Although for a while I was not counting them out, because I just never do. You never know what they're going to do at the end. But yeah, it's been clear for a while. I don't know if it's so much been talked about, because Montreal is a great team. Like, this is going to be a tough series for the Lightning. They have to win tonight. This is a must win, type game. So I think the Atlantic especially is just so close. So many good teams that it was like, if it's not going to be the Panthers, it's going to be somebody else. This is not going to be an easy first round matchup, whoever it is. So I don't know if it's so much talked about. However, it is notable that the 3 teams, it's always been the Panthers, Toronto, and the Lightning, right? And the Lightning are the only ones this year. So it's crazy, and it's makes for a really interesting postseason, very different than what we're used to seeing in Tampa, for sure.
And just to close out, Deandra, have you got a couple of keys top of mind for you? So a couple of keys for Tampa Bay to be successful tonight, and even this series at 1 heading back to Montreal.
Well, the Lightning are a really good 5-on-5 team, and that's something that they've worked on over the years to kind of build back. I would say after the 2023 season, eliminate the penalties would be ideal for them. And they are strong. Like I said, they're a strong 5-on-5 team. So lean into that. I think they played well defensively. I don't think that was anything. And then obviously if Vasilevsky is on his game, and I think he will be tonight, like if he is at his A game, I think they definitely have a chance to win. And it's going to be a matter, like you said, is like towing the line, like getting right up to the line, but not letting it go over. And, like I said, let Corey Perry be Corey Perry, but this team is like, they have a lot of young, fast players, and not worried about anyone on this team. Just continue to play well defensively. And when you look at the Lightning, just historically, like when they won the back-to-back cups, they were solid defensively. They need to just keep doing that.
Deandra, thanks so much for your time this morning. Enjoy game number 2 tonight and the rest of this series and the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll talk soon. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me on.
That's Deandra Liu from the Hockey News, covers the Tampa Bay Lightning. And our game of the day brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the 2026 Jeep Compass 4x4 is going for $36,900. We got 27 left in stock at stalbertdodge.com. And it's all about towing the line. Trailer Park Ryan texted in a while back, hey guys, I'll give Nurse some credit for a good first. And he was really good in the first period. Jumped up, jumped back. He was really good. Had that crossbar at the end of the second period. But prior to that crossbar, well, what did he do? As Trailer Park Ryan says, you can't take a selfish penalty like he did in the second that led directly to a goal. And that's about, he went after a guy. He went after Mason McTavish. If he cross-checks him, gives him a shot somewhere else, because he was mad that McTavish gave a little tap into the stick and pad area of Connor Ingram. So you got to just go about it and I don't know, stinky glove in the face, whatever it is. But you can't take a penalty like that. That's the way it is. So it's discipline. When we come back, the con man, Connor Halley in the building. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have option. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every Edmonton playoff game for the Legacy Heating and Cooling postgame show. Visit the experts at legacyheating.ca.
Euphoria is back, and it's only on Crave, the groundbreaking HBO original Critics Call. One of the most explosive, heartbreaking, and entertaining shows on television returns for a new season, starring Emmy winner Zendaya.
If you make a deal with the devil, there's no turning back.
A new chapter begins. The real world awaits, and their story changes forever.
Wherever these unlucky folk go, there's a cascade of trouble.
Euphoria, new season, stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 1022 in Edmonton. I'm hearing some like standing ovations here in the Stingray studios here at West Edmonton Mall in the background. Connor Halley from the Jason Gregor Show and Fantasy Frenzy joins us now. Hello, Con man. You were out in the well there. What's going on out there?
Just their Tuesday meetings where they clap a lot. I don't know exactly what it's for. I think they must be.
Well, someone's getting an award.
Somebody probably got an award. Maybe AJ with CSCW.
Oh.
Station of the Year
if someone
again.
were getting a Sports 1440 award, who would it be and what for? Like, I mean, I'm trying to think. There's not a whole lot going on here, is there?
No.
I mean,
there's no MVP.
Like, maybe Duke and I should get like co-awards for explaining daylight saving time this morning.
Oh, we were talking about that yesterday with some people at the bar, and
oh yeah,
my head was going to explode.
Wow. So we were right bang on. Like I said at the very beginning, we discussed it for like 2 minutes, and then people were getting pissed off on the text line. But I said, Duke, when you start watching your Ducks next year, it's going to be 9:30 puck drops.
Mm-hmm. After we fall back.
They
fall back.
We won't, right?
We as a society, not accounting Edmonton.
Yes.
Yeah, or Alberta. Yeah, when I started, like, for me, selfishly, I'm like, well, what about Chargers games? So now they're going to start at, if it's usually 2 o'clock here, is it going to be 4 o'clock?
No, it would be
3 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Well, what would it be, Duke?
It would just be
Chargers games.
They're always like, it's always the 2 o'clock slate here. When does that now begin?
Well, that'll be at 3 o'clock.
See, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's really not ideal for me.
Yeah. So if you got it, and a lot of Charger games are say 2:25, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be 3:25 technically.
So all of a sudden, eventually, Thursday Night Football's 7:15 starts.
Yes.
See, that kind of benefits me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever. We just got to keep cutting it out and get through it, I guess. Those late starts are going to be tough, though.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, man, you must be enjoying the Stanley Cup playoffs here. It's been some wild stories. I mean, just even last night, the storylines, I mean, here, they were crazy.
Here, Carolina
with that play. Oh,
I got to say, I mean, I changed the channel. I'm not, the Bachelor pad with the 2 TVs anymore.
Yeah.
I thought I was looking on my phone, but I thought I'll just flip it over. And I went back to the Carolina game when they were trying to explain what happened with the offside and the penalty shot.
Did the announcers know what was going on even?
When I got there, they were kind of piecing it together. Like they had figured out what was going on. I will say this possession when crossing the blue line, like since Kale McCarr, I've never really known. I know people explained it to me on Twitter, like this is the ruling.
Yeah.
Okay, possession as you're spinning backwards and it's off your stick for a second. It was a little bit confusing, and I still probably will never really understand it because I'll just wait and see what the ref says. That was just one
part of it.
That was just one part of it. And then there was the hook on Martinook as he was going to the net, which still counted. And it was wild for it all to break down in that fashion. But, justice in the world. Martinook gets the game winner. And I loved his post game saying, if we didn't win, I didn't score. I would have wouldn't have slept much. Would have been thinking about that one.
You know what was funny last night in the press box? Gregor was going bananas. Because he has cash on Ottawa here, I think, to play Alberta. And I'm not kidding. So he said, how could this possibly be a pet? Like, because he didn't see the whole play. How could this possibly be a penalty shot after, because he's going on and on. Well, it was probably before.
Yeah. But it was after.
No, but the hook was before.
Nope. No. So they crossed the zone. That's where the play was should have been blown dead offside. And the hook was right after.
Pardon me, yeah.
The penalty occurred
confusing
after the offside, but in the rule book, and Friedman had it at the intermission.
Yes, sorry, I'm just flip-flopped.
It's going to be crazy. Like, that is the rule book. Yeah. So in the future, like,
well, because they always said, because guys could, if you knew it was offside, you could rip someone's head off.
It's true.
That's how the rule came in.
If someone was that savvy, like, I know that was offside, I'm going to two-hand slash, like, you'd be pretty heady play. But yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. I flipped it around in my head there for a second, but yeah. Oh,
we're
just watching it right now again on a replay here, but for it to go 2 overtimes, I don't know what Jake Sanderson was over 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Yeah.
It's a lot of miles for a guy, man.
That's like young Darnell Nurse. Was it in 2017?
60,
he was played the entirety of the game. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was at 60 or something like that.
Allmark was solid too.
He made so many great saves.
I heard some, kind of the post game chatter on
Yeah.
the major networks about he can't play better and they didn't win. Well, maybe
Right.
not, but maybe the team in front of him can play better and he can play close to that. I feel like despite the loss in his own head, he's got to be thinking, I can play pretty well against this team.
See, and so Frank was on earlier, and he said, "Oh, there's no chance for Ottawa, no chance anymore." I don't see that. I still see, it's a different mentality now. Obviously, you got to win Game 3 here.
Absolutely.
So you win Game 3 and just hold serve, then you take it from there. But I mean, they were right there to win that game last night. They had some great chances.
I think you have to spin it, and people say maybe it's foolish, but hey guys, we were right there. We could have won. They had so many good chances in overtime. If you're the goalie, Allmark, you're probably thinking, okay, let's keep it going, guys. I got us. You just score 3 and we can get this done.
Connor Halley with us in the Sports 1440 studios. What impressed you about the Oilers game last night in the sense that, again, first time ever that they win a game with no points from Connor? So.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I thought overall, despite the goals going in against Connor Ingram to kind of steady the ship, and he made some big saves down the stretch to keep them in it. I thought that was impressive. I thought, there was only a few things that I didn't like in the game. The Bouchard turnover was one, obviously. I really didn't like that Darnell Nurse penalty. I think, you get away with the one
it's
cross.
Funny you said that. Yeah, we just talked about it.
The one cross check's fine. What are you doing giving him another shot, especially to the head? Like, if you're going to do that, make sure you go low and, there's probably a scrum and that's it. But you get him in the face, you force the ref's hand to call that. And of course, they get you back automatically. And I think kind of a learning lesson, because Duke and I talked about it so many times this year. When you're playing the Ducks, they're pesky. You can't give them an inch because they'll run with it. So, I mean, that was a little bit disappointing, but positives, I mean, Kapanen and Dickinson, and even on both of Dickinson's goals, kind of just a play by Jake Wallman. I mean, that first pass was beautiful and great on Dickinson to control it. And then on the second one, he starts it off by getting it to Matthias Ekholm. And I mean, that's like the NHL 2006 glitch. You come in on that angle, slap shot, it's always going to be the rebound to the wide open net. And this simple hockey, and that's what I like to see from this team. Because how many times do we see the overpassing and just trying to make that extra play? It's just nice to see.
It's funny, when you're talking about that third goal, when Duke walked in this morning here, and I was here for a bit, obviously, but he just looked at me and he just said, he went, Radko. So the first thing he said was like, oh, goodness. And, the old sniper in section 204 took him down. I think Matthias was trying to elevate that shot a hair bit more.
Yeah.
Because that's his side. He picks that corner. And then when I also think that when he saw Gudas go down, it was just get it on net and hopefully because Savoy was right there for the rebound too.
2 players. And I love it. It's so funny because I know a lot of people are fearing Radko Gudas. And if you listen to Fantasy Frenzy or probably this show, Duke says, he's a third pairing defenseman and he's not that good. Like, if you ever had McDavid out there against Radko Gudas, good luck trying to hit him. Like, that's an advantage.
About 2 times, and he went around. I mean, McDavid went around Trouba,
went
around Carlson. I mean, everything down the right side there too. So I'm going to keep an eye on that because McDavid seemed to try to exploit that side. Because the strength of the defenseman, I think, when you look at it, are more on the left side with Lacombe, guys like that.
I mean, if you're Hyman or Savoy, when he starts picking up speed, just get to the blue paint.
Minty's got a little more foot speed than those guys, but Carlson's still. I mean, he's moving the puck still, and Trouba, that's the guy I would worry about more than Gudas.
Nasty streak to him. Moves a little better.
He's good enough still. If you got your head down, that he's going to catch you. Gudas, I don't think, if you got your head down, I think he might not get there in time.
Yeah. I mean, and people they talk about that. When's the last time McDavid really got God?
It's been a while.
Or Draisaitl. Like, I know Hyman got the reverse check last night. Maybe knocked the wind out of him. Yeah. He took a second to compose himself.
I thought too, like it kind of he got his head there with sort of the elbow shoulder as well. I was surprised that they didn't concussion protocol.
I thought so too.
But because he stayed down a long time.
Yeah.
But I also think too, like, and Louis had said it too about the wind.
I think they looked at the telltale signs when they kind of grabbed their head, and he didn't do any of those sort of things. I'm wondering if there was that conversation immediately where he's like, I'm winded. I just need a minute, like, catch my breath here, because it was a good shot. And I saw, some Oilers fans didn't like it. The ref, you suck chant. I get that, but I've seen Leon Draisaitl throw that play on a lot of guys too. So Can't have it both ways.
Connor Halley with us in the studios of Sports 1440. Hey, Duke had this for an in or out. I'll throw it at you, and then I'll give you a couple chances or moments to think about it. Around the rest of the NHL playoffs, 4 games tonight. 2 teams will even their series at 1 game apiece. So we got Montreal and Tampa Bay. Montreal leads 1-0. Boston in Buffalo. Sabres lead that 1-0. Golden Knights home to the Mammoth. Vegas leads that 1-0. And then the late game, the Kings and Avs in Denver. Colorado leads that 1-0. So Duke figures there's going to be 2 of these that are going to be 1-1. And 2, at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
So he figures that Tampa Bay's, that's the one that's not the gimme, but he's more confident in it. So out of the other 3, if you were to say, I think that this series is going to be 1-1 at the end of the night, which one would you say?
Well, I would agree with Duke for sure on Tampa.
That's where everyone's going. Yeah.
Like they're going to kind of find their game, you would think. I think I would say, I don't think the Kings will even it up.
Yeah.
It's between the Mammoth and the Golden Knights or Sabres Bruins. Yeah. I think I'm going to say the Mammoth.
That's what Duke said. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Bruins could do it too. They were in that game for a long time until the Sabres got going. And I wonder if that momentum, if you believe in that, carries over. But I like the Mammoth, and I think the Golden Knights, there's ups and downs with that team. So I like Utah. I'm curious to see. I know we saw the death threats after the game between players. Logan Cooley on the receiving end. Yeah.
Who was that? Who was that for Vegas?
I don't even know, but I laughed at that. I'm sure he's shaking in his boots. He should have given him the old
Dowd.
Was it Dowd?
Might have been.
Should have given the Drysdale, ooh, I'm scared response or something. But I think that would be the one.
Did you see the atmosphere outside the building and even inside for that matter in Buffalo?
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
Like it reminded me of here, like the amount of people and how excited everyone is. I asked Frank too. I said, is it going to be like that in Philadelphia tonight?
Are they? I don't know. I mean, I'd say that's a fan base I'm a little unfamiliar with.
Well, as Frank said, it used to be Eagles is always going to be number 1 no matter what. And then number 2, he said for periods of time, it was Philadelphia Flyers. It was the Flyers, but not anymore. The Phillies are there, and the Sixers have been the Sixers, whatever. But the Flyers have dropped off. I said, if they win this series, can they get that? Can they get back to the 2-hole? No, he didn't think so. So they got to win more than a series or 2.
That Owen Tippett play was unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's textbook.
Yeah, and I mean, but I've never seen Pittsburgh look so uninspired.
Yeah,
they've to be honest with you, the way they played is embarrassing.
Do you think it's kind of a case of, hey, people wrote us off, we made the playoffs and they said we wouldn't, and I
don't know,
this is it?
I just think we've seen nothing from Sid Crosby, nothing from Malkin. I mean, those 2 guys, yes, they're older, but there's still lots left there.
Oh yeah,
those guys can get it, and they obviously got to win game 3 or 2, but man, oh man, they're in tough. And Stu's been pretty good, Stu Skinner.
Yeah,
they had, besides the shorthanded goal that you're talking about with Tippett there, that on the setup, Stu had a 2-on-0. Do you know? I think in this series, on the power play for Pittsburgh, on Pittsburgh's power play, and I think they've had six because they had 5 last game. I think on Pittsburgh's power play, Philadelphia has more shots on goal than Pittsburgh does.
After the first period, Penguins had 2 shots, I believe. They had 3 power plays.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, you need some run support if you're Stuart Skinner. He's not the biggest problem, but just for those who watch from afar, he'll get a lot of blame.
How did our Fantasy Frenzy NHL playoff draft go? What did we?
It went good.
Quite a few guys.
Yeah, I didn't actually count the total. It was a bit of a stressful process for myself. Just a lot of people getting in after the deadline. Right now, Nate's leading the way. He's got a 9-point lead on Trevor. The Duke is actually sitting tied for 3rd. Declan tied for 8th. I'm in the next spot, a point back. Country Mac right there as well. So
Country Mac is on fire.
Where are you hanging? I don't know if
I went all Pittsburgh, guys.
Oh, I took a couple Penguins.
Did you? I went all Pitt. I thought, you know what? I just put everyone in that one box. I looked at the boxes and I thought, okay, if you go hard on Pittsburgh, some other things can fall into play here. So It was a $20 donation for me.
I think looking back at it, I think I only took Malkin. So if he can put up a couple points, that might be good.
I've got all of my every box I think possible. I took.
I
even took Stu Skinner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Some of the boxes were so weird.
They were.
For just hand up, maybe I should have gone through it and consulted with the Duke or something, but
Mm-hmm.
I just went by default. Whatever they had, I just was like, okay, we're all in this together. We all have the same advantages or disadvantages. So it's all about raising money for charity.
Sure it is. That's all that matters. What's coming up on the Gregor Show today?
Oh, busy show today, actually. We'll kick things off. Brad Mayday is going to join us. We've got Nick Baumgartner to talk some NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
TR will be by for a segment. Dave McCarthy, Cam Tate, Stat of the Day, Strutty, Spec, DVD, and then Alex Steida as well.
When's the last time you had Brad May on?
I don't know. It's been a while.
Well, not in the playoffs.
It's been a while, but we might have to get that goal call as he get him on the show.
Rick Janneret. Yeah, you should be able to get that easy.
I think we can probably find it pretty quickly.
I mean,
so
for Brad, between him and like Rob Ray,
Mm-hmm.
They had there was a period of time there where those two guys were so well liked within the Buffalo Sabres market. And Rob Ray still is obviously doing the games.
Mm-hmm. Was it Brad May that scored the goal?
Brad May scored.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm like second guessing myself.
It's all hard.
Mayday,
Brad
Mayday,
May and Rob Ray, right? So it was Mayday, yeah. That's Rick Janneret.
Yeah, great call. Great reaction.
Man, yeah.
Some good. I think we actually did have him on during COVID, talking about the old rink in Buffalo.
We had him on. We had him on about 2 years ago, and man, he just snapped at me because I said something to the effect that, like, you were one of the guys that brought in the rule of where they had to have tie downs and you couldn't take your. He goes, one of the guys. I was the guy. And I was like, oh, sorry.
You call it the Rob Ray rule.
That was the Rob Ray rule.
Yeah,
because he just totally geared down. Then the guy had nothing to grab.
Smart.
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah. Conman, have a great show and have a great fantasy frenzy.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Connor Halley. You'll hear him coming up at the top of the hour, plus 2 to 6 with Jason Gregor on the Jason Gregor Show. When we come back, we'll wrap up this show, the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made in Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Divorce is never easy, but Fairway Divorce Solutions can help.
Their clear step-by-step process addressed all our issues, and we moved through the process quickly.
Fairway didn't take sides. They saved us money and heartache.
My ex, the kids, and I feel like we'll all be okay.
At Fairway Divorce Solutions, trained mediators and in-house lawyers will move your divorce process forward in a professional and efficient manner to achieve a fair resolution and separation agreement. Visit fairwaydivorce.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m., featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com. WestownSports.com.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson, and I'm joined by a very important member of our team, Jody. She coordinates our crew and job packages for all furnace replacements, air conditioner, and heat pump installs.
And Dennis, I've got to say, our installers really are the best. They've all been with us for a long time, and we never use subcontractors.
So you know that whomever is in your home is a Weiss Johnson employee, not someone hired out just to get things done. So the next time you need us, ask for Jody.
Always happy to help.
Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auctions are this Thursday and Friday at 9 a.m. These major events include multiple lanes selling a large section of multi-purpose trucks, equipment, and commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Your game, your station. Sports 1440.
And watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
How do you like me now, Duke? Same as before. I think there should be a country song written with the title. Is that something you might be interested in? Who would be the best guy or woman?
Why don't you write it? And then
Is
you can
that
sell it.
something you might be?
You can
And
sell it.
Keith Whitley kind of do that kind of
Well,
vocal,
he's
like
passed away.
No, I mean, but have that style of Keith Whitley. Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah, keep working on it.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what the best division in baseball is right now, Duke, as far as teams with like the records? You know
Like
what
total wins?
Yeah, like I mean.
Oh wow, no,
with-
I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Let me see to put together a guess. I'm gonna say the National League Central.
Well, of course you're right, Duke. You just looked it up.
I'm staring at a page of Adobe Audition.
Every team in the NL Central has a winning record.
Only reason I guessed that because I knew
Yeah.
a couple teams were off to surprisingly positive starts.
Yeah. The Brewers are in last place. I think they're 12-9.
That's too bad.
I don't know what the worst is. What's the worst division?
AL East.
Nah, I mean, no. I mean, the Yankees are 13-9. Rays are 12-10. I don't know. Maybe you're correct, Duke. But Milwaukee right now sitting at 12-9. The Cards are 13-9. They're a surprise. Cubs are 13-9. Pirates are 13-9. And maybe the biggest surprise is the Cincinnati Reds. You know why the Cincinnati Reds are the biggest surprise in the division? Because they basically have three guys playing right now. They got De La Cruz, they got Stewart, and they got Suarez. Other than that, all the other players are terrible. And Rhett Lauder's throwing the ball well for a guy that's, how old is Rhett Lauder? He's a young guy still, 24, 25. Rayner says, hey, did anyone see the overhead of Granlund's chance? It looked like Ekholm got the tip of a stick on it, or was it going in? Duke, I thought it was just going wide. Was it not?
I think he just fumbled it.
Do you think there was spin coming off? You know how that sometimes
That's possible.
There's a lot of spin, you know, the puck ricochets all the way around. I didn't see, it's funny though. I thought that, didn't in the postgame Connor Ingram say something to the effect that Ekholm was there and made something,
Well,
helped it out?
if nothing else, and I don't have the replay in front of me to look back on it now, but I did, like, once the game was over, I went straight to bed. It was already past my bedtime. Like the fact that Ekholm gets there and is taking up some of the net, it at least makes the player have to think about it to try and do something rather than just put it into the yawning 6x4.
Mm-hmm.
So all the power to him. If he actually got a piece of it, even more so power to him. But otherwise, just being there and forcing the issue a little bit makes a difference, no doubt about it.
Text just came in 833-401-1440. Video on Twitter shows him blocking it. I mean, gosh, if that's the case, it's the save of the game. Obviously, I just thought that I'm looking at it again, Duke, and I can't tell.
It's very fast.
I mean,
it's hard to see.
No, I don't see it.
To me, Kevin, you want to know my honest opinion?
Look
the
at
people that want to say, the people that want to believe he blocked it will see that he blocked it. Otherwise,
Duke, if you look, I'm looking at it right now, and
when I watched it last night and this morning, I didn't think he did.
Yeah,
I thought Granlund just kind of pushed it
wide.
wide.
Yeah, and it's not even hitting the net.
No, it is. It's not close.
Like maybe they're saying the toe of his stick maybe just got a piece of it, like the tip of Ekholm's stick, Duke. I don't know. I'm looking at it again for the 80th time. And maybe the tip of Ekholm's stick got a hair of it. And I'm going to see it again right now for the last time. And it is, I don't know, it's close. Triple C says Ekholm blocked his stick, not the puck, because of the miss. Go watch the overhead cam. I am, Rainier. I am. Riggs says, I saw the video of it. Ekholm definitely got his stick in. Original 6 says, guys, won't the 2:30 p.m. Charger games be at 4:30 in Edmonton?
Well, no, we're talking about relative start time in this specific scenario. The games would start here at 2:25 originally, right?
Yeah.
In Edmonton, Mountain Time, NFL games 11 o'clock, 2:25, 2 o'clock, 2:25. Those will now all just be pushed ahead an hour.
Yeah. It'd be like watching them in Saskatchewan.
But only once daylight savings ends for the rest of North America.
Yeah.
So for games through August and September, when everyone else is still on daylight time, it'll be business as usual. Post November, whatever weekend, third weekend, second weekend, I can never remember. Then all of a sudden we're talking about noon and 3:25 start times.
And then that Sunday night game will be at 7:15.
Yeah.
It's going to be different, isn't it? It's going to be weird. I just can't. I don't understand it, man.
It's
stupid.
This is eating you up, Kevin. It's going to keep you up tonight.
I want to see, like, I wish we could fast forward, Duke, and just have a week right now in December and January, right now. And if this is how it's going to be, and people are going to go, well, this isn't the right thing. MTR says, don't we have to vote on things like this? Well, there was supposed to be that.
Well, there was a referendum,
and
I think
it was voted against it.
It was voted
down,
nay, but
Smitty says, oh, do whatever you want.
They're gonna try and.
Stu Barnes says, aren't you from Sask, KK? I am. But again, honestly, when you think about it, when Saskatchewan changed the time, when they don't, in the summertime, where we lived on the east side of the province, in the summertime in Saskatchewan, it's light out at 3:30 in the morning. Like 3:30 in the morning. Like at night, you could have all these great Saskatchewan nights and stuff like that. They don't have it. Triple C, I'll give you this one. I was just in Saskatoon this weekend. I will never complain about roads in Edmonton again. You know, here's the thing too, Duke, and I don't know when the last time you went across the border. Say at Lloyd.
It's been a while.
Okay. Like I've gone lots and lots of times. The roads when you leave Alberta and then just get over the highway, whatever it is.
The change is instantaneous.
It's unbelievable, the quality of roads, the difference in Alberta to Saskatchewan. And that's just on the highway, Triple C. Never mind all the crap that you see in town. MTR called Smitty Gutless. Text 833-401-1440. Duke, what's on the agenda for your watching pleasures tonight?
Great question.
Montreal right off the hop, right?
Well, yeah, during the week, it does get more difficult than the way they stack the games on the weekend, which was awesome because these are staggered start times, right? 7 or 5, 5:30, 7:30, and then the dreaded 8. I can't guarantee I'm going to make it through the entirety of Kings and Avalanche tonight because we know all these Oilers games are going to be super late. So if I can get myself a slightly earlier night every second, I'm probably going to take it. So no, I'll have the double screen action going, unfortunately, for this next little bit. And this is not different than any years previous. Things like the Blue Jays do take a little bit of a backseat for this first and even to a point second round of the playoffs. And then I will try and dip into some of the basketball games tonight too. Particularly LA and Houston. I don't know. Do we know if Kevin Durant's going to play? Josh still uncertain.
He's uncertain.
Leaning towards no based on Josh's indication there. So credit to the Lakers, especially to LeBron in game number 1. Houston is the better team, but they're going to be in tough on the road, especially if KD's not playing. Still out.
Team Dean says they confuse potash for asphalt in Saskatchewan. Oh, man. Riggs says, hey, Kiki, I thought you'd appreciate the sunlight at 3:30 in the morning for your stumble home back in the day. Very true, Duke. In the summertime.
Oh, nothing like stay. I think it was Garth Brooks that said it best.
Yeah.
Ain't going down till the sun comes up.
Yeah, but I would have rather had it at night in Saskatchewan for sure. Good show, man. Thanks, Duke. We had some great guests and good interaction on the text line for sure. And it was funny because, halfway through the third period, you think how a show is going to go the next morning and you're going, oh man, this is going to be way different. And then it changes on a dime and the show was way different because of what happened with the Oilers in the third period. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Ross Shep-T-Bird.
Connor Halley and the Duke of Delburne at 12 o'clock. It's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell, 2 till 6. Jason Greger drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. Hey, we got Fox Sports all night long. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock with our co-host, David Schlemko. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, like gas, telecommunications, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Hey, thanks everyone for listening this morning. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all your texts and all the great interaction again. We could not do this show without you. Hope you have a terrific rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Until then, here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Four-game slate in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, starting off with Tampa Bay hosting the Canadiens. Tampa trailing that series 1-0. Sabres at home against the Bruins, leading that best of 7, 1-0. Mammoth in Vegas against the Golden Knights. Puck drop there at 7:30. Mammoth down 1-0. And the nightcap, Kings in Denver taking on the Avalanche from Mile High, Colorado, up 1-0 to none. Pair of games in the PWHL tonight, New York in Toronto, Vancouver hosting the Montreal Victoire, and BCHL playoffs resuming. Sherwood Park Crusaders at home against the Brooks Bandits. Puck drop 7 o'clock from the Sherwood Park Arena. That best of 7 currently tied at 1 game apiece. In the association, 3 playoff games for your viewing pleasure. Sixers in Boston, down 1-0 in the series against the Celtics. San Antonio up 1-0 on Portland. That one getting underway at 6. And the nightcap, Lakers hosting Houston. Rockets expected to be without Kevin Durant. Yet again, they trail that best of 7, 1-0 to none. Off the court earlier this morning, Billy Donovan exiting as head coach of the Chicago Bulls after 6 seasons. And full slate of games across the majors today, including the Blue Jays continuing their set in Anaheim against the Angels. First pitch scheduled for 7:38. Patrick Corbin on the bump for the Jays. Elsewhere today, Tampa hosting Cincinnati. Detroit up against Milwaukee. The Yankees are in Boston against the Red Sox. Mets host the Twins. Baltimore in KC. And the Seattle Mariners continue their series hosting the Athletics. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brendan Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.